Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Stay informed with The Rundown, the daily newsletter from High School OT that delivers high school sports news and insights straight to your inbox. Brought to you by High School OT and powered by our sponsors Blake Orthopedics, First Carolina Bank, and Smith Douglas Homes. Subscribe to The Rundown at highschoolot.com.
When you're living with low vision, life can be a challenge. Everyday tasks and the things you love to do can become difficult and feel impossible. You might find yourself feeling sad, isolated, frustrated, and like you just want to give up. Don't. If you're 55 or older and your world has gotten smaller because of vision loss, it's time to be bold. Time to be bold is helping people like you with low vision regain your independence. Go to timetobebold.org for a list of services in your state that will give you the tools, technology, training, and support you need to live your bold, best life. Join others who found a bright, bold future. Go to timetobebold.org. Help is here. Go to timetobebold.org today.
Progressive knows that boat days can come with unexpected problems.
Oh no, I dropped my lip balm in the water. I can't think of anything worse than the looming threat of potentially having chapped lips. It was ginger vanilla, too, my favorite flavor.
If a real problem comes along, your boat's protected 24/7 with Progressive, so you can keep worrying about boater problems. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, not available in D.C.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Studio, WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Isolated showers lingering through about the early to middle part of the afternoon. Not much rain in the rain gauges, and we'll see sunshine later in the afternoon with a high of 75. Mainly clear and cool tonight with upper 40s, and a nice day tomorrow. We'll start with sunshine. We'll see a high of 71, but we'll see some showers on Friday night and a good chance of rain for Saturday.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 818 points to 49,680.
Huge block now. Sent out in front. They score! Taylor Hall! Miller shot off the sideboard. He scores! Logan Stankoven! 4 games, 4 goals. Jarvis, he'll tip it to Aho. And he'll put it in the empty net. Bingo! And the Carolina Hurricanes are the first team in the 2026 playoffs to advance around, sweeping the Ottawa Senators.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan on a Thursday. I've got good news and bad news. We know who the Canes are playing in the second round of the playoffs. That's the good news. The bad news, we don't know when yet. So you can quit asking. I got better news. At some point in this hour, we'll give you a keyword that you can text in to potentially win yourself some Game 2, Round 2 playoff tickets. And we know who's going to be playing, Canes Flyers. Speaking of Canes Flyers, I have a feeling here on The Drive we're going to lead off the Big 3 at 3 with just that.
Number 1.
By the way, the Big 3 at 3 is presented by Maynard Service Company. heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. Maynor Service Company can do it all. Give them a call. Check them out online. MaynorServices.com. MAYNOR Services.com. And I did fail to say it. I'm Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox back producing the show. I think I was just excited because we know who the Canes are playing. Flyers. Canes, Flyers. Round 2. Stanley Cup playoffs. This is, I don't want to say like a surprise by any stretch. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead over Pittsburgh last night. The last one is always the most difficult. The last win in a 7-game series is always the hardest to come by, and it was, right? They went up 3-0. Pittsburgh pushed it to 3-2. Then in the 6th game, it goes to overtime, but the Flyers completed it. And it makes for a really interesting matchup with the Canes in round 2. And we'll dive into the previewing every which way because I don't think we're going to – just guessing here, right? I don't think we're going to see a game until next week, maybe Tuesday, right? Monday possible, Tuesday. So we have some time to really sink our teeth into predicting this one. But, I mean, if you look really hard – if you really do the statistical analysis thing, you can find some ways where, Philly might have a slight advantage. But if you just glance at these two teams, right, if you just bring up their stats pages on whatever, NHL.com or ESPN or whatever site you use, there are not really any ways on the surface that you wouldn't be able to make a pretty good argument Carolina is better than Philly. Goals allowed, goals scored, power play, penalty kill, the very surface level stats, winning percentage, points, place in the standings, head to head. There's very few ways you could look at this and not think that the Canes were the better, more talented team. But that's the thing about the playoffs. That's the thing about the playoffs. The Canes could have been better in every or nearly every major statistical category, but they're in the same place right now, and the series starts 0-0. You're in the same place right now. They don't ask how you got here. They asked, are you here? And they're both in the second round. They're both 0-0, and even with the Flyers playing much longer, just more games in the first round, they're going to have a hefty break between the end of their series and the start of the next one anyway. They're not, getting one day off and back into the next one. So there's work to be done by the Canes. Okay, there's work to be done by the Canes. And the irony is, the outside noise helping you lock in is going to be actually, I think, less for this series than it was in the first. I think there were higher expectations for what Ottawa could do against the Canes than there will be for what Philly can do against the Canes. There won't be as many bulletin board material points that you can just tack up on a corkboard in the locker room about everybody picking, Ottawa to win by a bunch. Yeah, I don't see that happening. So it's a different mental challenge for the Canes in this one. And yes, they are statistically the better team, but they've never faced in the postseason. It's be the first playoff season, or series, I should say, first playoff series between the Hurricanes, even going back to the Whalers days, and the Philadelphia Flyers. Just like it was for Ottawa. First for everything. For a long time, I felt like they were facing the same 3 teams in the playoffs every year. Now they're getting all new opponents. That is, and we will talk about that matchup more, that is number 1. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
Duke's doing the Duke thing again, which is finding ways to just continue printing money. If you missed the announcement, it came this afternoon. The Duke men's basketball team will play non-conference neutral site games against Final Four participant UConn, reigning national champion Michigan, and Gonzaga during the 2026-2027 season. And here's the kicker. All of the games will be exclusively on Amazon Prime. This is a agreement between Duke and Amazon. It's going to be November 25th. They're going to play UConn the day before Thanksgiving. That is what it is, in Vegas. Duke will play Michigan December 21st, just a couple days before Christmas, obviously, Madison Square Garden, New York City. And then the game against Gonzaga is February 20th That's that late season non-conference game that they've been playing. Illinois a couple years ago. It was Michigan this past year. Now it'll be Gonzaga, and that'll be in Detroit's Little Caesars Arena. The 2024 Final Four will be held in Detroit. So there's some of that going on where Duke makes sure they get to tournament locations against non-conference opponents in their non-conference schedule to make sure that they know the subway, I guess, if that's how they're getting to the game.
The game in December that they play is at Madison Square Garden, where the East Regional Final is taking place. So Sweet 16, Elite 8.
Prepping to be a top seed, that might get to choose where they get to go.
Might be. Which
is exactly what they did in D.C. last year, and it worked out, as far as locations go, pretty well for them. I've said it so many times, but now that you're paying players, schools have to operate as better businesses. They can't leave money on the table and just go, well, that's not how we do it. Duke's opening a new frontier. It's essentially like a streaming broadcast agreement that's just them, right? It's not an ACC media rights deal that they get a slice of. They're using their non-conference schedule to get Amazon probably to give them a nice pretty penny, right? I mean, a chunk of change. Right, it's big for NIL, right? You have more money to spend. You have more money to put in your rev share. You have less money that you need to ask your fans for, so that can go towards collectives. Money makes the world go round. It does also, just from a media standpoint, if you're a big sports fan, and you don't have it already, I would just get the Amazon Prime login, because this shows they're in live sports, right? And they've already done the football thing. They're going to do this. They're trying to mix it up with golf. They're in.
And they've had a lot of NBA first-round games too.
Yep, they are in. And once Amazon is in, they rarely get out. So might as well stop fighting if you've been fighting. The other part that I think is interesting is not every team is going to be able to do this. Part of the reason why this works for Duke is because Duke is the brand that it is. This is what I'm talking about when people are brand doesn't matter anymore. It's about who can pay. You're just adding a middleman, okay? If you are one of the blue bloods, one of the big brands in college basketball, you might not be able to go to a recruit and just say, we're brand, come to us, like you used to when you were recruiting, right? Like, hey, eyeballs on you. It's going to be an atmosphere. We're a big brand. But now you can say, we're a big brand. I'm going to go to Amazon, sell part of that brand, get a deal like this one. Boom, that money goes to your program. Now that's what you recruit with, right? The brand still matters. You just have to go, find the currency transfer to transfer your brand to cash and then give it to the players. Duke went to Amazon, said, Duke, we're a big brand. People want to watch us. Amazon said, you're right. We will give you a X amount of dollars to broadcast 3 gigantic games in neutral sites across the country. Now, Duke gets to take that money and do whatever they want with it. Maybe there's a 5-star sophomore high schooler somewhere that's going to have that money in their possession in a couple years, meaning high school sophomore. That's what the other big brands have to do now. Right? Carolina, you're a big brand. Where's your streaming deal? Kentucky, you're a big brand. Where's your streaming deal?
Yeah, when we're going to see UNC versus Kentucky somewhere in like Chicago, Michigan State as well on Netflix. Here we go.
Or I was thinking of this the other day. It feels like a weird fever dream in college sports history. Remember when Michigan State and Carolina played on a aircraft carrier?
Yeah, I do remember that.
That, if it happened today, boom, sell that on a one-gamer to Netflix, have it lead into the Beast Games right after, or Amazon lead into the Beast Games, wherever the Beast Games live. Like, all of that stuff, it becomes branding awareness and becomes valuable to somebody. Don't give that stuff away for free. That is number 2. Let's stay in college basketball, get to the more on-court stuff for number 3.
Number 3.
Couple of commitments to the triangle. We'll start with the more highly rated of the two. Duke received a commitment from Joakim Boumje. This shows potentially how much money Duke has, potentially how good of a recruiter John Shire is. Whatever it is, it shows something because they already have 11 players, either recommitted, committed from high school, or committed out of the transfer portal to be on Duke's team next year. They just received this commitment from Joakim Boumje. to be the 12th guy. He won't be the 12th guy on the roster, but to be like and chronologically the 12th addition to the team for next year. He's 16 years old, first of all. Let's get that out of the way. He is nearly a guarantee to be at Duke for 2 years because he's actually going to be too young age-wise to be eligible for the NBA draft after his freshman year. I was unaware of this rule. I always thought it was you had to be 1 year removed from your high school graduation, which is why players like Cooper Flagg could reclassify up and leave after their freshman year. But it turns out whether you're international, American, or wherever you come from, you have to be 19 at some point in the calendar year of the draft to be eligible to go in. For Americans, you have to be 19 somewhere in the calendar year of the draft and at least 1 year removed from your high school graduation. International prospects don't have that. But either way, he's 16. He's not going to be 19 by the time that draft comes around. So he'll have to wait an additional year. If he were to remain in his traditional class, which would have been not this year's recruiting class, next year's, Rivals has said he would be the number one player in the country.
Oh, so he's good. Got it.
They've said if international players were added to just the traditional rankings, he would be the number one center in this year's class as a 16-year-old.
So he's really, really good. Got it.
The potential is through the roof. And it's ironically similar to the player, Keyon Seda, and I've botched that name a bunch of times. His teammate from Barcelona who committed to Carolina earlier this week, because guess who Rivals said he passed to be the best center in this class? That's right. The player that just committed to Carolina. So it's very similar in that they are tremendous talents, but also in that they are tremendously raw. They're very young. Their physical abilities are through the roof. When and how they're able to use those physical abilities in college this season will be part of the story of each of these teams. I believe Duke's looking at this as if they just took his senior year development and put it in-house, right? I don't know how much he'll play, barring injury and things to other big guys, Gongba, and they've got some dudes, but they are now all in on developing him for what will likely be a superstar season the following year, even if he does have an impact on that one. And then also, NC State got a commitment out of the portal as well. Darius Adams, a 6'5" combo guard from Maryland out of the transfer portal. He was a former McDonald's All-American, 10 points per game for Maryland. Another player to add to a rotation on the perimeter for NC State. That is the Big 3 at 3, brought to you by Maynard Service Company. Check them out, MaynardServices.com. Canes, Flyers. We know the opponent. What do you think about the matchup? Stick around.
Credit card interest rates are now over 29%, and most people are only making the minimum payment, so they're getting nowhere. Hey, it's Dennis Cox for Loan Pronto. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project. One client just got $100,000 approved and saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you can do it all from your phone. With zero out-of-pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn-out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows. Act now. Go to loanpronto.com. See how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
A multi-billion-dollar settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you were exposed to weed killers at work or at home, your rights are affected. If you or your family has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, you could receive $6,000 to $165,000 or more. This settlement impacts you even if you're not sick, because this blood cancer can take 10 to 15 years to appear. If you stay in the settlement, you give up your right to sue. Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
He's looking for a little side of the net magic here, and it'll find its way to Ehlers, and he scores! Nikolai Ehlers banks it off of Vladar, and Carolina has a 2-0 lead with 4:30 left in the first, and Fly is red hot.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Canes, finally, beyond a shadow of a doubt, know who they're playing in the second round of the playoffs. It's the Flyers. It's the Philadelphia Flyers. Hopefully that guy you just heard in the highlight is good enough to go, Nikolai Ehlers. Battling back from an injury, missed Game 4. Hopefully Alexander Nikishin is good enough to go, battling back from concussion protocol. Rod's been, I would say, optimistic in his comments about both, but nothing set in stone. We all know how injuries go.
Yeah, the fact that Nikishin's skating is a good sign.
Skating, non-contact sweater, but skating, great sign. Also, I mean, as I said at the beginning, the good news, bad news of today is good news, we know who the Canes are playing. Bad news, we have no idea when it'll be. So for those of you that are itching to know, we don't have any information for you. But it does seem like it's not tomorrow. You know what I mean? There's still more time, which for those guys getting back and healthy makes it more and more likely with every day that passes. The other part, the good news is we know it's Philly. Now, the way I've phrased this probably makes you guys know exactly what the answer to this trivia question is. But, Dennis, I'll set you up anyway. You can be the mouthpiece of the people.
Okay.
The top 7 teams in total goals scored in the Eastern Conference were in the postseason.
Okay.
Of the bottom 9, only one team made the postseason. Do you know who that is?
The Flyers.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Kind of set you up for success on that one, didn't I? The Flyers were 12th in goals scored and made the playoffs. So literally it was the top 7 and the 12th. And they did have, I think it was like a +7 goals differential on the season. So they're a defensive team, right? That's the way you're looking at Philly. They're a defensive team. I don't know how you could look at that stat I just gave you and come up with any other fact, right? If you are really the only non-high goal scoring team in the East to make the playoffs, you better have prevented goals pretty well, or else you wouldn't be there. And you take it a step further. I won't set you up for success as much on this one, but I assume you would know, Dennis. Do you know where the Flyers rank in power play percentage this year?
Oh, on the season?
Yes.
They were either next to last or dead
They're
last.
dead last. They were absolutely dead last.
I knew it was bad.
No, you're. I give you credit. Ding, ding, ding. By about, there you go. By about 0.5%, they are dead last in power play at 15.7%.
And their power play this postseason is 11.8.
And the Canes' penalty kill has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And by pretty good, I mean incredible in the first round. So there are, as I said at the beginning of the show, there are a lot of reasons why you look at this and go, the Canes are the better team, right? I think they do certain things similarly, and then the things that Philly does poorly, the Canes also do very well, right? Goal scoring and that. At least if you look over to the entirety of this season. But the playoffs are finicky, right? You're in the same spot. All those goals you scored in the regular season, those whatever, a handful of dozen goals you scored more than the Flyers this year don't count anything towards game 1. You have to go out there and do it again. And do it again and do it every single game. So, yeah, you've had this long break. The things you've been leaning on have to continue, right? Freddie Anderson, 5 goals allowed in 273 minutes of work. That's a lot of hockey out there to only give up 5 goals. Logan Stankoven, he's a goal-per-game guy right now. He and Taylor Hall, 7 goals combined over the 4 games. There are a ton of things that you want to continue. I brought up the penalty kill just to prove that it's been as good as I said it was. 35 minutes and 53 seconds shorthanded. 1 goal allowed. That's a 95.2 kill percentage. And this one just doesn't even make sense to me. First of all, how you have this much time in a series. 3 minutes and 38 seconds of 3-on-5 time. 0 goals allowed. Those things are fantastic. And you want to hang your hat on them. But doing that against Ottawa doesn't do anything against Philly. You know what I mean? You don't get to carry any of that over. You're playing a defensive team. You're playing a team that's going to try to shut you down in certain ways. You're playing a team that is playing with house money in that nobody expected them to be here. No one expects them to beat the Canes. You're going to get a interesting challenge if you're Carolina. And on top of that, I know I'm not the first to say it, but I'll jump in the chorus here. You got a long break you got to deal with. You got to get rusty. You got to be ready to go. You can't shut down the engines too much. Definitely not the first to say it every time anybody has a break. But let's say they don't play till Monday. They played on last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long. Hockey players aren't used to that. This ain't football where you're like, oh, thank goodness we're playing Monday night. I got a long week. We played Thursday last week. Those extra couple days are going to feel glorious. This is no, we're used to playing every other day. Right? The long break is when you get 2 days off between games. It's like you feel refreshed. Getting a week and change, that is something they're going to have to deal with. And one of the things, and I brought this up yesterday, and I'm sure I'll say it a bunch of times before the game, I hope this is one of the ways that the Canes, last 8 years of postseason will help them. Right, this is not them trying to figure out what do you do with a longer break. They've had this, right, and they've had the trials and tribulations. They've come out flat in game ones after long breaks, and don't do that again. Right, cross off that plan. They have ways to kind of look back and learn. Speaking of, Rod Brindamore explained, at least in part, the conversations and challenges of balancing physical practices to make sure you stay sharp while also staying rested over a long layoff.
I mean, you don't have to. You'd like to have a little bit of kind of pushback, but there's also a fine line on that too. So it's a little bit of a guessing game on what's the best way to approach things. Do you back off all the way and get, really feeling really great, or do you worry about the edge coming off? So I guess you kind of try to play it somewhere in the middle.
I'm going to go back to one of my my tried and truisms here. It's it's more actually no, it's not a football conversation. It is a when you've clinched your spot in the playoffs conversation, do you rest starters or do you not? And everybody argues as if they know the right answer. My point is always you got to know your team. For some teams, it is no, you got to rest your starters. They're good. They can flip the switch. For some teams, it is the harder you practice them, the harder you go, the more you play them, the better they'll be. And as a coach, you have to know your guys. There is no right answer for everyone. There's right answers for your team. Same thing is true here. And it might not be the same for every player, right? Hey, we're going to have a pretty physical 3-on-3 here. You, and you. You sit out. like Rod has to know his guys like that, and I trust him to. Some of these guys he has a really, really long history with. You can probably watch them skate out for warm-ups and know what they need. As far as rest versus work, you just got to trust the coaches to know their guys, rather than arguing about what's always right in that situation, because nothing's ever always right in that situation. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, and as soon as we know, you will know when it comes to. As soon as we know, you know when it comes to the schedule. We'll do our best.
I'm hoping that we hear something tonight.
I'm hoping we hear something during this commercial break.
That would actually be
But you're
nice.
right. As long as we hear it by tomorrow morning, I think, we won't rip our hair out too much going crazy wondering when the game's going to be.
Well, you don't have any. Well, actually, I don't have any hair to rip out. You do. So you have something to lose. I don't. But here's the thing. Keep in mind.
Beard hair, you're just ripping out the beard.
You know what? I can see that. But, for example, the Stars and the Wild play tonight. The Oilers and the Ducks play tonight. If Minnesota Wild win, if the Anaheim Ducks win, those series are done, which means there's no game on Saturday scheduled in the NHL, which I'm sure the NHL doesn't want to have. But if Dallas wins and Edmonton wins, you're looking at Game 7s. Then you have a potential of, on Sunday, 3 Game 7s on Sunday. If tomorrow, Tampa, Boston, and Utah all win tomorrow. So there's a possibility right now that you could have 5 Game 7s over the weekend or no games over the weekend. So I'm hoping that we figured out something tonight. Be kind of nice.
I will say this, and I'm obviously not a Flyers fan. I don't know why I'd protect them. It'd be kind of messed up to late Thursday tell them they're playing Saturday in Carolina.
They can get over it.
Again, I'm not protecting them for any reason, but if the NHL said, no, we're not going to do that, I would go, fine, that makes sense. Midnight Thursday night, you're traveling tomorrow morning. Would be kind of a rough spot. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis has something else he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. Something to always keep in mind as a motorcycle rider. Obviously, we got some rain earlier today, got some rain last night. Always be checking the weather, but always have a contingency plan in case the weather turns sideways. Because we all know here in the state of North Carolina, especially when summer rolls around, it's bright, it's sunny, it's warm, and all of a sudden those thunderstorms just come out of nowhere. Well, guess what? You got to make sure that you have an escape plan as a motorcycle rider. Is there an underpass that you can get under? Maybe a parking deck, somewhere that you can get to safe and quickly as a rider. That way you're not out there in the dangers of the road. So always have a contingency plan. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, make sure you contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So contact them even before you contact the insurance company. Insurance companies, they want to give you the least amount possible, whereas Law Tigers are there to work for you. Again, case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, will be back with a keyword that could win you Canes playoff tickets and the Dean's List coming up next.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
How does the defendant plead?
Guilty. Wait, what? Also, objection.
You object to what?
Erroneous.
Counsel, approach the bench.
Hey, can I get a whack at the gavel?
You wouldn't settle for just any lawyer, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Evan Cohen here. PayPal is now the official peer-to-peer payment sponsor of the NFL, which means all the money moments that fandom creates, whether splitting tailgate costs or chipping in on tickets and game day food between friends, are covered. Wherever the game is played or watched, PayPal moves with fans. You can send money through text, email, or directly to your friends with eligible accounts on Venmo. Just download the PayPal app, share all the moments that matter. Account with PayPal is required, not available in all regions where PayPal operates.
Saturday, May 2nd, cheer on the North Carolina Courage as they host the reigning NWSL Shield champs, Kansas City Current. Bring the family for an affordable night with free parking, no ticket fees, and pregame fan fest fun for all ages. Tickets are going fast. Grab yours now at tickets.nccourage.com.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK, and people ask me all the time, why did you go to Dr. Lori? 1, she's the best. 2, I need 20/20 vision, and now I've got it. I've gotten rid of the glasses and the contact and everything that goes along with it. And right now, Travers LASIK is honoring first responders with an exclusive LASIK savings for police officers, firefighters, and EMTs. Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com.
Now Blake will find Stankoven. Back for Jackson Blake. Blake up for Nikishin. He hammers it. They score on the power play. Taylor Hall out in front. A power play goal, and the Canes have a 2-0 lead.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the next keyword in our playoff ticket giveaway. Canes playoff ticket giveaway. The tickets are to Game 2 of Round 2. Game 2, Round 2 tickets will go to somebody out there. The way to maximize your chances is to listen every hour to this show for the rest of today. For Paul's show, next up with Paul Ihander tomorrow morning, the Adam Gold show, and then our show again all day tomorrow. Each hour we give out a keyword. If you text that keyword into the number I'm about to give you, you'll get the entry for that hour. It's that simple. Do it every hour. You get the most chances. For right now, the 3 o'clock hour, text the keyword ROD. R-O-D, like the first name of the fearless leader. ROD is the number, or the keyword. The number to text it to, 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of Carolina Hurricanes Round 2, Game 2 playoff tickets. The winner will be selected and notified on Monday, May 4th. That's this upcoming Monday. So the keyword is ROD, and that expires at 4. We can't extend the deadline for you. You have to text it in by 4. ROD, text it, just that keyword, nothing else, to 919-860-5326, and you will gain this hour's entry. But you got to do it by 4 o'clock.
By the way, this is a text to win, not calling like someone's doing right now.
I still, when we do keywords text in and the lines light up with callers, I don't know what they're going to say when they answer. Like, do they just answer, go, Rod? And then hang up? Because I say don't say anything else. It's just keyword ROD. You don't have to say any other word. Don't text anything else. Just keyword ROD. Are they going to call and just go, keyword ROD, and then hang up and be like, I'm entered. Glad I did that. I don't know.
Like Michael Scott declaring bankruptcy?
Yeah, kind of. Like I would like to declare the keyword. Thank you. No, it's what it is. So keyword ROD, 919-860-5326 is the number to text it to. Do it by 4 o'clock. We'll have a new keyword in the next hour. In the meantime, right now here on The Drive, it's time for the Dean's List. All right, let's get it started with former Carolina quarterback Drake May. It was announced today that he will be on the tee in Charlotte, North Carolina, in the Truist Championship Pro-Am at Quail Hollow, Wednesday, May 6th. Off-season quarterback. I mean, you got a PGA tournament in your hometown. You better cash in that fame and go get yourself a Pro-Am tee time. I'm just jealous, and I wanted him on the Dean's List. More Dean's List. How about Steve Wilkes, former Carolina Panthers interim head coach, who many think should have gotten the permanent tag after that interim coach run. Also defensive coordinator. He's done a bunch of stuff in the NFL for years. He has been welcomed back to the mountains. App State has brought him in as the special assistant to athletics. I imagine that's quite a bit of fundraising and just being there on game day to shake hands. But also, maybe they'll use his expertise on the football field. Steve Wilkes going back to the mountains up there in Boone. Congrats to him. Dennis, do you have any Dean's Listers you would like to throw out here?
I do. I want to throw out John Wall. John Wall goes on the Dean's List. He's actually becoming the president of basketball operations at Howard University, so going right back up there to Washington, D.C.
It is, I think, a pretty big miss by schools, and he's from Raleigh, right? So
yeah, he's from here.
Schools close to home and or Kentucky, that he's going to go help a college basketball program, and it's not like, obviously the HBCU element of Howard is very cool. Maybe that's very important to him. There are HBCUs around here. Kentucky would have his where he played status. I just think there's John Wall is going to be an asset to any program that he works for. The dude is a hooper. He is a gym rat. Have you seen the I guess he might have been on like an Amazon pregame show or something. He was doing the media thing. It went viral. There was a clip where I guess they do this with their new analysts, where they just put a player up and ask him what college he went to, and it's kind of to make fun of him, right? Like, oh, you don't even know ball. John Wall ran through like 130 seconds. Just Louisiana, Miami of Ohio, Fresno State, Wichita. Just boom, 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 boom. It was incredible. And I'm like, oh, so this guy, he's not just trading off his name. The guy loves to watch and be around hoop. And Howard is going to benefit from it. So I guess I'll put Howard on the Dean's List for luring John Wall back up to D.C., where so much of his NBA career took place. More Dean's List. This is going to be a weird one, but come around with me on this. Tall basketball players. Doesn't it feel like tall college basketball players are having a moment right now?
Describe tall.
Like the Final Four, Michigan was gigantic. Arizona was gigantic. Illinois was gigantic. I don't know, 8 years ago maybe, it felt like there was that small ball revolution where everybody just wanted a bunch of wings and everyone was trying to be the lineup of death of the Golden State Warriors. If you look at who's getting the most money out of the portal, if you look at who teams are stacking up on, we're going back to the 90s. 7-footers are back. I mean, look at the Duke lineup. Look at what Carolina's doing. They're just stacking 7-footers. Even 7-footers from Europe that are like, well, I'm actually a junior in high school. They're like, are you 7 feet? Let's get you on campus, bud. What do you need? Money? We'll make it work. What about the what is it, Sharnowski? The guy that went to Duke from Belmont? They're like, what are you, 6'9", 6'10"? Sure. I shot 43% from the free throw line and I played at Belmont. We'll figure that out later. Get on campus, you tall guy. Carolina brought in, although I'm hearing there's some questions about maybe his eligibility or his clearance or something like that. But Logie, the player they brought in out of the transfer portal, he's played in like 40 career games. He has 0 assists. I don't know. Are you almost 6'10"? Let's go. Tall guys having a moment, which seems crazy that it wasn't happening in college basketball, but it's definitely happening now. More Dean's List. I think we got to once again just put Duke and Amazon. And we didn't even get into all the details. I'll read a quote here from Jeff Borzello, who covers the sport nationally. This was on Twitter, ESPN College Basketball Insider. The partnership, if you missed it, Duke's going to play 3 gigantic non-conference games in neutral sites, big stadiums all across the country, and they're all going to be exclusively on Amazon Prime. Big endorsement, big all that. Jeff Borzello, ESPN Senior Insider. The partnership will include extensive NIL opportunities and is a part of a broader retail partnership expected to be announced at a later date. Beginning with this year, Prime Video will exclusively present 3 Duke neutral site non-conference games per season. The NIL opportunities, that's big time.
And it's legit NIL too, not just like, here's $10,000 to like wave high.
Well, that's why it's such a good deal, because it is tied to playing at Duke, but it is also a legit endorsement, right? So it's a way that Duke can recruit saying, yeah, we'll get you the money, but it's not just them going to their, rich alum and saying, can you give them the money? It's, no, you're coming to Duke, you're getting the exposure, and we're going to already have avenues in which the exposure you get for playing to Duke turns into cash in your pocket. The best way to do NIL is to just find somebody else to pay the player. You know what I mean? Then you're not going to take it out of your pocket. That's the best way. That's probably the best way to pay for anything, right? Have somebody else pay it for you.
How do you think all these stadiums get built?
Good. Fantastic. So you're saying Amazon is like the city government that pays for half of the billionaire stadiums? They're paying for half of Duke's NIL roster? And it sounds kind of similar, actually. All you got to do is bring in entertainment. Sounds exactly like it, actually. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Dean's List. Class dismissed. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry, specifically the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, who normally I'm always telling you about how you can go buy your dream watch. How you can go buy your dream watch. Go get the Omega. Go get the pre-owned vintage Rolex. Well, today I'm flipping it on you. Anybody that's been on a watch journey knows your taste might change over time. And one of the beauties about collecting or wearing luxury watches is they hold their value much better than many other things that you might buy and wear around. So Bailey's wants you to know that Bailey's and the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop are actively buying luxury timepieces. So if you have a Rolex, a Cartier, Panerai, Hublot, Omega, Breitling, Tudor, Patek, Audemars Piguet, if you have any of these luxury brands that you've loved, you've worn, you've had the experience, and you're ready for your next grail, you're ready for your next item to be checked off your wish list, stop by. If you're looking to sell or consign a watch, bring it into the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, talk to their talented watch experts, and they can work out an agreement. Or you can also go to baileybox.com, click to the services tab, and learn more about their buying of watches and consigning watches and everything else. It's all at Bailey's Fine Jewelry, Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Village District location in Raleigh. And then Get on to that next dream watch that you have. Again, tastes change. Bailey's, their quality, their customer service, it doesn't. It's always top line. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We talked a little bit about it, but there's a couple of new players coming to play basketball in the Triangle. The additions to NC State and Duke center stage next.
I feel like I am special, that I'm receiving an award for being an athlete.
The Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month from 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union. To nominate your athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326.
It's bow time. There's something special about the first bite of a Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit. Like an edible alarm clock that slaps you awake with bold Cajun flavor. The moment you sink your teeth into that soft, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit, then strike gold with a juicy piece of fried chicken, you'll know. Nothing beats the first bite, except the second first bite. Get a Cajun filet biscuit combo today at Bojangles. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Time to satisfy your craving for Cajun with a Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. Enjoy a Cajun fried filet tucked inside a hot made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. Make it a combo and add your choice of fixin' and legendary sweet tea. And remember, Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuits are served all day, every day. Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Again, we know the opponents for the Carolina Hurricanes. We don't know the time for Game 1 of the second round or the day, but they're playing the Flyers. And if you heard it earlier, you may have already done so, but if not, text keyword ROD, R-O-D, to 919-860-5326 by the end of this hour, so by 4 o'clock. It'll expire at 4 o'clock. And you'll be entered with this hour's chance, this hour's entry, to win a pair of Carolina Hurricanes Round 2 Game 2 playoff tickets. Winner will be selected and notified on Monday, May 4th. We don't know what day Round 2 Game 2 is, but we know it's against the Flyers, and we know it's in the Lenovo Center. So that's where the tickets will take you if you win. Again, keyword ROD. Number to text it to, 919-860-5326. Let's talk basketball additions. We talked a decent amount about Joaquin Boumche at the top of the show, so we'll finish with that. Let's start with Darius Adams. Maryland transfer Darius Adams. He's going to NC State. 6'5", combo guard. Nice little recruiting pedigree. Top 40 recruit in the country out of the state of Indiana last year. Goes to Maryland. Bit of an up-and-down year. Former McDonald's All-American. Had 10.8 points per game and 3.4 rebounds per game for Maryland. That's a good play. It's a good player. Okay, I watched a little bit of him this morning. It's a good player. NC State seems to be, and obviously this can change with one, home run swing. But they seem to be in the transfer portal this year for Justin Gainey's first team, going with the, hey, let's hit a lot of singles. Let's hit a lot of doubles. We're going to be a high percentage, high batting average, on base. He's going full money ball. They're bringing in quite a few players. I don't know if many of them have, like first-team All-ACC potential. But a lot of them are coming in having played somewhere else, having shown a certain base level of capabilities, of abilities in college basketball. And I think Darius Adams fits in that. Right? I don't expect a 10.8 point kind of inefficient scorer at Maryland as a freshman to become a 20-point scorer as a sophomore. But also, he can put up 20 points in games, right? It might be a hot hand style team. Adams last year, just for example, they were playing at the time 12th ranked Purdue. It was a loss. It was kind of a big one. He scored 17 points himself. Later on in the year, or in another game that year, they're playing number 8 at the time, Alabama, in a loss, kind of a big one. But Adams had 20. So he can pop off for you. He can score. I don't know if you'd expect him to do it every game. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at this NC State roster. Right? It might not be the biggest, the craziest, the most sizzly deal. But there's guys that can do a little something for you each game, right? Preston Edmeade coming from Hofstra. He was a good scorer, good creator, but that was at Hofstra, right? If you expect a little bit of a dip going into this year, he'll be a solid player that can pop off on some games. Keene, the player from Boise. He didn't even score at Boise. But he does a lot of the other things. He does a lot of the dirty work. Kyle Evans, he's a shot blocker, right? You don't usually think of those guys as superstars. Efficient offensively, but close to the basket. He was playing at UC Irvine. And we could go on and on and on down the list. So I'm not saying this is the wrong way to do it. I'm saying it is very different than what Will Wade was doing last year. And again, that might have been the directive. Right? I wouldn't be surprised if everyone inside the NC State program wanted to do everything as differently as possible as Will Wade did it. But it was very obvious that Will Wade was big game hunting every step of the way. Right? It was very obvious that Will Wade was, Darian Williams. I'm not even sure if Will Wade thought he would fit his system. But he was one of the top transfers on the board, and they came up with the money to go get it. And when he committed, boom, splash, preseason ACC Player of the Year. Didn't work out. I'd be willing to wager dollars to donuts that the NC State Wolfpack do not have the preseason ACC Player of the Year this year. That's not to say it won't work out. It's just to say they're taking a different strategy. And then on the flip side, Duke did make a splash. Earlier today, Duke got a commitment from Joaquin Boumche, who I would expect is going to be called Boom Boom. Just Boumche becomes Boom Boom pretty darn quickly, right? Duke has landed a commitment from 7-foot center Joaquin Boumche of FC Barcelona. He announced actually earlier today. He's a versatile big man, won't turn 17 years old until May, late May that is. So he is a 16-year-old player right now, and he is committed to play for Duke next year. According to Rivals, if Boumche was coming to the high school ranks right now, meaning over to America and would be ranked amongst all the American players, he would be the number 1 center in the 2026 recruiting class. Were he to have stayed in the 2027 class, which is what he was before he reclassified up, he would and came over to America and was ranked amongst all the Americans, he would be the number 1 overall prospect in the 2027 recruiting class. Playing for Barcelona's youth team, because he was for the Barcelona basketball team out there, that program, he averaged 16.2 points, 6.5 rebounds, 1.8 assists per game. He was MVP at the Adidas Next Gen tournament. All of this to say, very, very high-profile prospect. And all of this to say, Duke is a recruiting machine, because he is coming in likely as a depth and development guy. For now, star, perhaps even by the end of this year, but definitely by his sophomore year, and he is ineligible to go into the NBA draft after his freshman year because he's too young. But you can probably count on one hand the amount of teams that Boumche could have committed to that wouldn't have started him his freshman year. or at least found big minutes for him, and I'm not sure Duke will. But it is, I'm certain, a trust thing, right? They'll likely get him some NIL, and I'm sure he's not doing it for free his freshman year. But also, it's trust that they will develop him well. They will not create bad habits. They will not put too much pressure on him. And if his freshman year goes well, he'll be ready to be an absolute star his sophomore year and then an absolute lottery pick, top 5 pick the next year. That's a real convincing, real persuasive thing you gotta sell to a 16-year-old to get them to commit over other places where I'm sure the money was good and the playing time would have been more immediate. And if you start looking at Duke's roster, when you throw in the returnees, right? Dame Sarr returning, Pat Gumba returning, Caden Boozer returning. You throw in some of the freshmen, Cam Williams coming up, the number 3 overall recruit, Deron Rippey, a top 10 recruit, Bryson Howard, a top 15 recruit. And you throw in the transfers, John Blackwell, the top guard in the transfer portal. Now you throw in these, like a random 12th guy who just happens to be perhaps the best center in the recruiting class, also joining the team. I mean, conservatively, top 3 in preseason rankings next year for Duke. By the way, and this is just a side note conversation here, I went down a rabbit hole of this Barcelona youth basketball program over there because Keita and I believe I'm mispronouncing that. If you go look at the interviews online for the player that committed to Carolina from Barcelona, everybody's pronouncing it differently right now. So I'm going to continue to work to find the correct pronunciation. But 2 7-footers that were high school juniors that reclassified up to join college basketball next season committed to Carolina and Duke this week. They are, if you ask rivals, the 2 best centers in this recruiting class. So I was like, what are they doing? What are they feeding them? Is it in the water? I went and looked it up. There is a 6'11", 14-year-old big man prospect for Barcelona right now, Mohamed Dabone, who apparently is every bit as crazy. He's 14. He's been playing on their U21 team a bit, U18 team a bit. He's another gigantic athlete. So Barcelona, whatever you're doing over there, creating these gigantic prospects, I'm assuming Carolina and Duke will like rent an apartment nearby and just try to keep those pipelines going because they both just got really good centers out of your youth academy. The rich get richer. So Duke announces like this gigantic partnership with Amazon, which is I'm sure extremely lucrative, and that they tacked on another 5-star prospect to their roster in the same day. Yeah, the rich get richer. All right, you have about 5 more minutes to text in this hour's keyword.
Actually, we have a bonus keyword.
Bonus keyword?
Bonus keyword.
Okay.
Hockey.
Okay.
Bonus keyword. We're going to hockey.
All right.
Hockey.
5 minutes? That's how long
Well,
it's there?
we're going to give you a bonus word for all the way till 5 o'clock.
Okay. Bonus word all the way till 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Hockey.
Yes.
Hockey.
That's right.
The number the same?
Number's the same.
All right. 919-860-5326. Text keyword hockey, Hockey, to 919-860-5326. And you will gain a bonus entry into our contest here, giving away Canes playoff tickets, round 2, game 2. Pair of tickets will go to one of you, but you got to text in the keywords. Winner will be selected and notified on Monday, May 4th. I'll get some clarification on what's going on during the break, but right now what I can tell you is hockey is the keyword, and text it to 919-860-5326. Back after this with football at 4. Don't go anywhere.
That sound? Yeah, that's not a good sign. Hey, it's Drew Brees, and when your car starts making noises like that, a big repair bill might be coming right at you. But with CarShield, you don't have to fear unexpected breakdowns. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. I spent my career making tough calls, but this one is simple.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
The NBA playoffs are right around the corner, and now you can trade every game on Kalshi. You can also trade on who wins each series, the conference finals, and the championship. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. No house, no odds makers. And as odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code PASS to get $10 when you trade $10. KALSHI. Kalshi. Trade on anything.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Spring is in the air, and Alev's long-lasting pain relief is here to keep you moving. The days are longer, and the flowers are blooming. Whether it's gardening, yard work, or just spending more time outdoors, spring has a way of getting us moving despite any body pain. That's where Aleve can keep you going. With just one dose, Aleve gives you long-lasting body pain relief for up to 12 hours. From sunup to sundown, Aleve's got your back. Try Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Studio, WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. A couple of isolated showers around the area up until around the middle of the afternoon. Then sunshine returns, and we'll have a comfortable 75 for our high. Mainly clear and cool tonight with a low of 47. We start Friday with some sunshine. We'll end up with a high of 71, but increasing clouds late Friday, some rain Friday night, and for most of the day on Saturday.
4 o'clock check of your money. The Dow Jones up 809 points to 49,670.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, our YouTube is back up and running. 99.9 The Fan live stream. It was up yesterday as well, but I understand that, you know, when it went down earlier this week, some of you may have changed your schedules a little bit. If you're tuned in now and you are a YouTube listener, you can go back to your old ways. We are back up on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Everything there kind of back to normal. So jump in the YouTube live stream comments, do the whole deal. Just make sure you are subscribed to 99.9 The Fan, the YouTube channel, I guess is what it's called. I'm not good with all the social media. All of the what should be follow, what should be subscribe, what should be like. Just subscribe, please. Okay? There we go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time now for a little football at 4, as it is always at this time. And let's go ahead and start with this. There are insiders that sometimes have insight to certain picks and maybe don't dump all of their notebooks, and then there are ones that do. And one thing I respect about Jeremy Fowler is he does dump his notebooks. Okay, Jeremy Fowler, NFL insider for ESPN. There are moments that during free agency, there are moments during the season, and there are moments right after the draft where sometimes he and Dan Graziano put out these articles that are just like, here's what I'm hearing, and it's the buzz. And they, you know, kind of put everything they know out into the open. So after the draft, it's always a very interesting one. And Jeremy Fowler, I'm just going to read the first paragraph that he says about the Carolina Panthers. Remember, they drafted Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle, out of Georgia with the 19th overall pick. Here's what Jeremy Fowler had to say about his insight into the way the Panthers handled the draft now that the draft is in the rearview mirror. The Panthers were essentially tackle or bust on day one. Carolina was high on Proctor, that meaning Caden Proctor out of Alabama. If he somehow slipped to 19, he was a viable option for the Panthers, but eventual pick Monroe Freeling was highly regarded, and Utah's Caleb Lomu was on the Panthers' short list too. That's just the first paragraph. There's other insight. We can get into it, but that actually changes some of the way I look at the way the Panthers handled the draft. I don't like that they were one position or bust. I thought they were best player available, and that's how they ended up on a tackle, which is one way to look at it, right? Different paths to the same location. Am I really going to nitpick that much? No. But when you are all in or bust on one position, I think there's maybe two reasons that's possible. And one of the reasons is I think, a really good one, and one of the reasons I think is maybe not as good. If they think they're a tackle away and they weren't super into Rasheed Walker, they think he's a good depth piece because they didn't give him starter money. He's the free agent tackle they brought from Green Bay, guy with 42 career starts. If may have been 52 career starts. I think I'm having like a did I leave the oven on moment. 52 we'll call it. A lot of starts. If they aren't as in love with Rasheed Walker as some thought they were, and they're like, hey, if we just had a left tackle, we can go do something crazy. I don't necessarily love that because I'm not sure the offense was a tackle away. But if the reason they were tackle or bust is because they thought there were 6 or they thought there were 7 unbelievable tackles that were amongst the best players in the draft, and they knew that there was a gigantic cliff shortly after those tackles into the 3rd or 4th round where you're not going to get value at tackle, I think that's a good reason to be tackle or bust. Right? Because then you're just reading the draft and, in a way, taking best player available. And I don't know if we'll ever know it, but it does change the way you look at it because I believe the Panthers are closer to the building stage than the contending stage on that spectrum they talk about. Brant Tillis, I believe, was the first to bring it up, but it's been referenced by a few different guys. Brant Tillis being the right-hand man to the GM, Dan Morgan, that there's 3 kind of stages in roster building. There's building, there's contending, there's sustaining. I think they're closer to building than contending, which is why I had no problem that they didn't draft for need early in the draft. Right? I have no problem that they didn't get the safety or the tight end or the receiver in the first 2 rounds that a lot of people thought they needed to go get based on the way their roster is, because I was like, they're still building. They're just grabbing good players and figuring out the rest later, right? Get as many good players on your roster and something's going to fall together at some point. But if they were out there kind of doing the opposite, they just didn't think that the positions we thought were the ones of need were the ones of need, that changes things. Which, by the way, Jeremy Fowler did say in this article, Carolina still has a glaring need at tight end that it didn't fill. Stowers, meaning Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt, was on the board when Carolina picked at number 49, but the Panthers weren't totally comfortable with the player there and liked the idea of pairing Texas Tech defensive tackle Lee Hunter with Pro Bowler Derek Brown inside. I like that they're convicted. I liked Eli Stowers, though. I think he's going to be I heard this phrase for the first time, Dennis, and I hate that when I don't come up with these because I like naming my theories. Eli Stowers is a Tino. You know what Tino stands for?
No. Tight
end in name only.
Okay.
Tino. I love it, right?
Okay.
Because
like Brock Bowers.
Evan Ingram, some would say Kenyon Sadiq. Eli Stowers is a Tino, right? He is a tight end in name only. He's not. You don't want him hip to hip with your tackle going to double team and jump to the linebacker and blocking plays. You know what I mean? They don't want that happening. So he's basically just a gigantic, tall and explosive vertically with a 45-inch vert.
Like Jimmy Graham.
Slot. Yeah, exactly. Only maybe a little less physical. Jimmy Graham came from basketball. Eli Stowers, former quarterback. Similar level of like, hey, don't touch me. That's a foul, right? Every time you get hit. Basketball players and quarterbacks, every time they get touched. Come on, ref. They're very similar. So if Carolina wanted something more physical, I'm fine with that. But the fact that they even considered Eli Stowers and didn't take him kind of leaves me like, oh, so close. Lee Hunter is good. I mean, the thing that the Panthers always do, and Dennis, I think you'll agree with me on this. The thing that the Panthers always do is if they zag from something that I'm really excited for them to do, they usually go to a place that you can't really be mad about. Right? It's like, oh, I would have loved that you have taken Eli Stowers. They went and got stronger in the trenches. It's like, okay, fine.
Like, yeah, you got a big guy. You can't move.
Oh, I wanted Mekhi Lemon. They went and got a prototypical left tackle. It's like, fine. Right? It's like you can't really get mad because they went to a place that's maybe not exactly where you wanted, but still safe. Still safe. And then the final bit of insight here from Jeremy Fowler. An AFC scout on the Panthers' third-round pick wide receiver, Chris Brazel, said this. He's fast and big, but those Tennessee receivers have had trouble making it in the league. He does have some route running ability, though. He could become an exception. This is the whole crux of Chris Brazel. For college football, I love that Tennessee offense. Makes it paint by numbers for the quarterback. Are like literally, and I'm assuming now that they have the headsets, the radios in the headsets, the coach is going like, you're going to take a 3-step drop looking left and throw the post to the right. And that's what he does, and the guy's open. It's very like, again, paint by numbers, very simplified. But those routes and that offense and the RPOs of it all and everything else, they don't usually translate to the NFL. That's how you get guys like, Jalen Hyatt. That's how you get even some of their running backs haven't transitioned great to the NFL. It's just a different deal. The point that I hope the Panthers are pointing to for Chris Brazel is his time at Tulane. Because before he was at Tennessee, he was at Tulane, and he did run a more complete NFL route tree. And especially his last year there, which wasn't a gigantic statistical explosion, but was he did lead him in receiving yards at Tulane. He ran some like NFL style routes and looked like he at least had a grasp on what he was doing. So he's not a Tennessee guy that was brought up in that Tennessee offense. He's somebody that, wasn't born into it, just thrived in it with some deep balls this past year from Joey Aguilar.
I didn't look and see. What was Darian Mensah his QB?
It was the Darian Mensah redshirt year.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The Darian Mensah Tulane year was his first year at Tennessee.
Okay, gotcha.
And then this past year was his breakout year at Tennessee, and obviously Darian Mensah was with Duke. So they're at least
there's a little crossover there.
Yeah, they probably stayed after practice a few times and through or something like that. But it's that Tulane offense was more pro style is what I'm saying. So he hasn't been entirely, all of his success is not in the Tennessee offense, which would literally make me nervous. Some of those programs, I think some of it is unearned. Mm-hmm. Like there for a long time, there was like Ohio State quarterbacks can't be successul in the NFL.
Yeah, there was that for a long time.
And it was because it was, I looked at it, I'm like, well, no offense, JT Barrett is small and his arm isn't strong enough. Like, I don't think that's because of the offense he played in. And, Braxton Miller was playing wide receiver by the time he got to the NFL. I don't think that's the reason he didn't have success in the NFL.
And Terrell Pryor was playing receiver, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they weren't exactly prototype NFL guys. They had a prototype NFL guy in C.J. Stroud, and, oh, look, he came out and had a really good rookie year. So it turns out the offense wasn't completely broken. But then there are other ones where it's earned, right? Like, if you're a quarterback, this is the most extreme example, at Navy, right? It's like, oh, you're running the triple option. That's a different sport than what the NFL is asked to do. Tennessee flirts with that line where it's like, oh, your offense is that different that it's difficult to transition to the NFL. But if you're drafting Brazel in the third, you think that was not the reason why he was successful or the reason why he looked good on tape. The reason why was because he's talented and he has enough experience in other offenses to make it work. But Panthers, tackle or bust in round one. That's not what I expected to hear. I expected to hear they were best player available and Monroe Freeling was so good they couldn't pass. Turns out they were like, hey, we got a list of like 6 tackles here, and whichever one's highest on the list when we pick, that's where we're going. Which, hey, at least you had a plan. Be convicted in your opinions, right?
Which was your favorite pick of the Panthers?
Favorite pick?
Yeah. I had 2 that pop in my mind.
I like Zakee Wheatley in the 5th. He's a player that's good in coverage, which I think they desperately needed. Would have liked a little bit more traits. He's not the fastest guy in the world. It's a good question. I might just say Freeling. Okay. I think Freeling, based on, you don't get a player that prototypically sound at a premium position like that unless there's something that's going to make people hesitate. And the only thing that would make people hesitate is he's young and inexperienced. He doesn't have a ton of starts.
Yeah.
But guess what? If he had a ton of starts, he would have went 6th. Like you wouldn't be there at 19.
Yeah, exactly.
So you had to take that chance. I like the Freeling pick. What were the two that stood out to you?
Brazel.
Okay.
From Tennessee, the 3rd round pick, and I like the Sam Hecht pick in the 5th round.
Center.
Yeah. Because honestly, if you found a starting center in the 5th round of the draft, well done.
And you need to find, I thought this was part of the reason they took Freeling, you need to find some cheaper options to take up roster spots on the offensive line because there's some big contracts coming your way. If you're going to pay Bryce Young, it's going to be big. If you're going to pay Tedero McMillan, it's going to be big. It's crazy to think about, but by the time like Hecht is off his rookie contract, you'll probably have to be paying Derek Brown and J.C. Horn again. Like there's bigger contracts coming down the pipe here, so you're going to have to save money someplace. And offensive line, you've been overspending the last 3 or 4 years, and you need to rein that in. So if Heck can be a starter as not only a rookie or not only a young player, but a young player on a 5th-round rookie contract, that's gigantic. That's really, really important. So I like that one as well. It's so hard to be too buzzy about a center.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there. Making calls. But he is. I mean, some people, Matt Miller, ESPN draft analyst, had him as the number 1 center on the board. He was the 5th center taken, but some had him as the number 1 best center going into the draft. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's a little Panthers draft insight from the insiders. We do have a cup check-in coming up next. Get you ready for the 2nd round. It'll be Canes against the Flyers. But before we get to that, Dennis Cox has something he wants to say.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my friends over at Law Tigers. Something that you need to make sure as a motorcycle rider when you're out there on the road is make sure that your insurance is fully up to date. Because depending on where you are in the state of North Carolina, anywhere between 1 out of 8 or 1 out of every 9 drivers that are out there on the road are either underinsured or completely uninsured as a driver. Well, guess what? If you are injured in an accident and if they're underinsured or uninsured, well, they don't have a policy that covers your hospital costs in case that needs to kick in. Well, guess what? That's when your policy now has to take over. So that's why you got to make sure that you are up to date with your insurance as a motorcycle rider. Make sure that you have that maximum coverage. And if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Your case evaluation is always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. So again, give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. All right, we're going to give you another keyword that could potentially win you some playoff tickets. Text keyword WIN, W-I-N. There is an I in win. Win, that's the word to text in, just the keyword WIN, to 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a pair of tickets to Carolina Hurricanes Round 2, Game 2 playoffs. Winner will be selected and notified on Monday, May 4th. You can text in now. This keyword of WIN, W-I-N, will be good until 5 o'clock. We'll give you a new one in the next hour. So the keyword is WIN. The number to text it to is 919-860-5326. Good luck to you. Oh, and I'm being told that the bonus entry is still allowed, still open.
Right.
Keyword hockey is also working at the moment. So until 5, you can have kind of 2. If you send 2 different texts, you got to send win and hockey as the keywords. 2 different texts, right? They won't work in the same text.
Got to be different.
So win to 919-860-5326, and then hockey, H-O-C-K-E-Y, to 919-860-5326, all by 5 o'clock. 2 separate texts. You'll have 2 entries into our chance at playoff tickets. Speaking of the playoffs, we'll have a cup check-in coming up next. Stick around.
I don't care what you got, just give me that. One goal.
Nikishin, Ehlers, shoots on the power play.
Verdeen wide open, rebound, and what a save by Anderson.
Hoist Lord Stanley's Cup.
Sebastian Aho in, short hit back in, scores! Oh, talk to me, shorty! Carolina!
The Triangle's official home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Shell.
Progressive knows you want to get away, but not like too away. You crave the unknown, but also charcuterie boards with 4 types of cheese. And that's exactly why you bought an RV and bundled it with Progressive, because 24/7 protection is one luxury you'll never have to give up. So go ahead, explore the wilderness, all from the comfort of your zero-gravity camp chair. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home or auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right, everybody. The 2 keywords for this hour are still alive. 2 separate texts. Win to 919-860-5326. Text it. And then in a separate text, hockey as the keyword. Just those 2 words. Don't say anything else in the text. Hockey to 919-860-5326, and you will get both chances for this hour at Carolina Hurricanes Round 2, Game 2 playoff tickets. Winner will be selected on Monday, notified on Monday. But until 5 o'clock, you can text in win, and you can text in hockey to 919-860-5326. You'll get an entry for each. All right, there you go. I'm going to keep reminding you, try to make sure everybody gets in as many chances as they can, because I want all of you to win. We don't get to do that, but I wish everybody would get a trophy in this scenario. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a Panthers cons and cons coming up next. Some big picture conversation, but let's be real. We know the opponent for the Carolina Hurricanes in round 2. They're taking on the Flyers. So, thanks to Carolina Ale House, the official sponsor of the 99.9 The Fan Cup check-in, where you all should make Carolina Ale House your destination for all Canes playoff games, including the official Canes road game headquarters. The Cary location will be hosting the viewing parties, Stormy and all that, but you can go to any of the Carolina Ale Houses across the area to make sure you are in the best seat in the house to watch some Canes hockey. With that being said, the Cup check-in for today is our very own Adam Gold from here at 99.9 The Fan, checking in with Bill Meltzer from Flyers.com. Enjoy.
Carolina outshot in terms of attempts, almost 2-1 Philadelphia. Yeah. But give me the evolution of what the Flyers are now based on what they were maybe 3 months ago.
Yeah, it was almost in 2 phases, honestly, because the Flyers went through the first 41 games, the statistical midpoint of the season. The Flyers were really stingy in most areas. Rick Tocchet installed a box and one system in the D zone,
right?
Which it worked really well for Florida. They've used that same system in the playoffs to really, they did against Edmonton really well. But what happened was that January came around and the Flyers really hit those skids. Flyers had just a horrific month. I mean, brutal. They couldn't get out of their own way.
Right.
And so they had a very long losing streak that they took almost right into the Olympic break.
Right.
During the Olympic break, and Pete DeBoer, who was not coaching the Islanders yet, he was still in the process of lining up his next NHL gig. NHL coaches talk all the time.
Sure.
They're very, very collegial kind of thing. And he said that he had noticed some things that, talk might want to think about, and particularly in the neutral zone. It kind of varies between a 1-2-2 and a 1-3-1, but or 1-1-2 rather. But in the neutral zone, they've been really stingy. In the first 3 games against the Penguins, they locked down the neutral zone as they were doing really from after the Olympic break till the final game of the season. They were really stingy in terms of not just shot quantity but also quality.
Yep.
Entries were really tough. Now that's going to be a big challenge against the Hurricanes because the Canes year in and year out are the best puck possession team in the NHL. They're a speed team.
Yeah.
And one thing the Penguins adjusted to, I thought over games 4 through 6, was they changed the way they would break out of their zone, come through the neutral zone, and rather than chipping in the same side, they're doing a lot of cross corner dumps or chip ins, and they were retrieving the pucks. They were winning the battles, winning the races to the pucks. Of course, the Canes have very good team speed, so that's something that right off the bat that I know Rod Brindamore is going to. They're going to pick that up. They're going to pick that up in the pre-scouts, and the Flyers are going to have to be the first one to adjust to that.
Once again, that is a Canes Cup check-in. Carolina Ale House, the official sponsor of the 99.9 The Fan Cup check-in. Make sure to make Ale House your destination for all Canes playoff games. And thank you to Bill there for giving us some insight into the other side of things. The enemy, if you will.
No, we don't know when this is happening. The game, the series. We don't know yet.
And by the way, if you're somebody that hears us say, we don't know when the series is going to start, and then you hear us say it over and over again, and you're like, gosh, I know, I have accepted it. There are many of you out there that just don't accept that we don't know and keep asking, which is why we try to, answer it all at once and let everybody. We don't know when the second round is going to start. I wish we did. We also have plans we'd like to make, and we'd also like to be able to know, but the NHL has a whole thing. They got to decide with Game 7s. They got to decide with arena availabilities. They got to travel. It's a whole bunch. TV.
That's the big thing.
If I could make it, we would know. If they just asked me, hey, when do you want the game to be? We would know already. But they don't check with me.
Also, the potential of 2 Game 7s on Saturday, 3 Game 7s potentially on Sunday. You don't want to bury a Game 1 amongst all of that.
And what you really don't want to have happen is to have Game 1 played before a Game 7, and then you get one side of the bracket way ahead of the other, to where the next round, especially if in the Canes-Philly series, it's a short series, you don't want to have a month off between the end of a series and you starting the next one. The Canes already have 2 long off, I would say, now. And if you start one early and the others go long, it builds that problem out and out and out and out and out. So we don't know. All that to say that we don't know when the series is going to start. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Why don't we jump into a edition of Cons and Cons?
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else. That starts with a W. Confidence.
What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? When it comes to the Carolina Panthers, we are officially post-NFL draft, which means for the most part, the roster is built, right? There's still the ability for, a big program-changing trade or a few, free agent additions. Sure. But for the most part, the heavy lifting is done, right? The team is what it is. You got to go through all your offseason activities, got to go through training camp, you got to build and improve and all of that. But looking at the roster as it is, what are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Panthers? As always, good news, bad news, which do you want first? You always ask for the bad news. So, Dennis, you can go ahead and lead us off. What are you most concerned about for the Carolina Panthers?
My concern is that there's still a void at free safety.
Okay.
I I was very high on Dylan Thieneman, the safety out of Oregon. I thought he could be a plug-and-play day one starter at safety. You took a day one, possibly plug-and-play starter at left tackle. Ain't going to complain about it. But that would have been my choice, personally. But nonetheless, it's what it is. And I know they got Zakee Wheatley in the 5th round. I just don't know with Ejiro Evero's, reluctancy to play rookies and to play young players early on in their career. We still might be looking at the same free safety situation that we saw last year. And I don't think that's a good thing.
I think it'll be difficult for Zakee Wheatley to to beat out Nick Scott in camp. Just because safety is a position that deals with a lot of communication. You can't be out of position, and Nick Scott's going to have a gigantic leg up there. And also, like, drafting someone in the 5th round, you very rarely expect that player to start, from day one, right? If that player were expected to start day one, they wouldn't have made it to the 5th round because, they're 3rd rounders that aren't expected to start day one. I like Wheatley as a pick, but it's I don't want to say a crapshoot, but it's a hint of lottery ticket when you're that late talking about a player that is going to be asked to do anything other than special teams. I think you could actually, this might be one of the places. If they go ahead and do add a free agent, I wouldn't be surprised if free safety is among the options they consider, just who's out there roaming the streets. But also their defense wasn't awful last year, and they had some pretty big question marks at free safety.
Actually, I'm curious to see who's actually still available.
Like who's the Christian Roseboom of safeties that they could grab right before camp? That'd be an option. My concern, and I went maybe bigger picture with it, my concern is the offense.
Go on.
27th best offense, points scored per game last year. They added Rasheed Walker, Kenny Pickett, Luke Fortner, John Mechie, some draft picks, Monroe Freeling, which would, if Monroe Freeling is exciting to add and help the offense, that means Rasheed Walker really is not exciting to add, so you can only count almost one of those two guys as like a big addition. Chris Brazel in the 3rd, Sam Hecht in the 5th. If I had the 27th best offense, I think I would do more than what I just read to help out. You know what I mean? I would have given more. And because of that, you're depending on a lot of individual improvement. You're depending on a lot of guys to level up, which you hope happens, right? I'm not saying it's impossible that, Bryce Young shows up and is a much better player. I'm not saying it's impossible that Teteroa McMillan shows up and he's, learned to handle his body a bit more and he's going to have the weight on all season and he's going to play like a monster. I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm just saying it is much more likely to bring in a player that's a little bit more proven or a little bit high pedigree and expect them to help your offense than it is to just go like, I think we're going to do a little bit of stuff and hope everybody gets better. I would have liked to have seen a few more free agency dollars, a little bit more draft capital going to the offensive side of the ball. I know that the picks weren't all equal, but they had 7 picks and 4 of them went to defense. And the defense was better than the offense last year. And their free agency went overwhelmingly to the defense. And their defense was better than the offense last year. So the offense seems a bit neglected to me, is what I'm worried about. Let's get to the more fun part. Dennis, what are you most confident in when it comes to the Carolina Panthers post-draft?
My confidence is the amount of resources that they've put into the front on both sides of the ball. The fact that, like you mentioned, they signed Rasheed Walker, but they drafted Monroe Freeling. They drafted Luke Fortner up front. Also with 4 starters coming back as well as last year. I know Ike Ekwonu is dealing with the injury, but your starting offensive line minus the injury of Ike Ekwonu, 4 of those guys are back. So that, and then also the resources you put on the front. Just look in the last couple of years of what you've put on your defensive front. Guys that actually play hands in the dirt. You signed Tershawn Wharton to a sizable contract. You signed Bobby Brown. Obviously, there's the Derrick Brown extension. But you've drafted in the 2nd round Nick Scorton, 3rd round Princely Umamielen. This offseason, you signed Jalen Phillips. You put a 2nd round pick into Lee Hunter as well. Don't forget as well that you had a Cam Jackson, a 5th round pick on top of that as well. Like guys that have hand in the dirt, they put some heavy resources into that area. So they've put their money where their mouth is. So my confidence is the fact that they continue to reinforce the things that they preach about as a franchise and what value is to them.
It is very obvious that the closer you are to the football when the ball is snapped, the more likely the Panthers are to see value in you.
Yeah.
Which there's, about a century of football coaches agreeing with them on that.
They said that since day one.
My confidence, again, bigger picture, is the defense. Because of everything I said on the offense, just in reverse. They were the 15th best defense in points allowed per game last year, and then they used 4 of their 7 draft picks on defense, and they also signed the highest price free agency acquisition of anyone in the league to their defense, and they found an All-Pro off-ball backer for $15 million a year to their defense. There's a lot of defense going on there. So I hear, strengthening your strengths. I get the logic behind it. I'm with it. Sometimes I think maybe some of that should have gone to the offense. But I guess if you're not going to spend it on offense, you better make sure your offense only has to score 17 points a game to win. There's one way, right? We don't spend on our offense, but we also don't ask much of our offense, would be the logic there. I think the defense could be really good if Evero does some things that we'd also like to see him adjust on. We'll have to wait and see. That's their defense coordinator, by the way. So there you go. That's a Cons and Cons edition post-NFL Draft Panthers. If you have some confidences or some concerns, meaning the things you are most confident and most concerned about for the Carolina Panthers, you can head to our YouTube live stream comments. 99.9 The Fan is the channel on YouTube. Head to the live stream right there in the comments below the video. Let us know what you are most confident and what you are most concerned about for the Carolina Panthers now that the roster is really coming into form. With the last few minutes here in this segment, I want to talk about some comments made by Nick Saban. Now, Nick Saban in college sports right now, I want to be clear on this, has nearly no official capacity, right? He is a member of the media. He is no longer the head coach at Alabama. He no longer is on whatever committees he was on. He has nearly no official capacity. But there is a responsibility when you are Nick Saban, because when you say some things about college sports, people are going to believe them. People are going to agree with them. They're going to take your word for it. It's the same thing with, in this area, it would be the college basketball coaches, right? If Coach K or Roy Williams say something about the way it happens, the way the game is played, the way it's structured, people are going to listen, and it's going to sway their opinions.
It carries weight.
It does. So Nick Saban was on Paul Feinbaum, and he said this: one team shouldn't have a $40 million roster and another team have a $5 million roster, and they're out there playing each other. There should be some kind of, every league, NFL, basketball, hockey, they all have a salary cap or something that creates parity in the league so everybody has an equal opportunity to win. There's a gigantic missed part of this conversation. Do you know what else every league, NFL, basketball, hockey, all have? Not just a salary cap. A collective bargaining agreement that negotiates the salary cap. The number one problem with college sports right now is nobody is including the players. And every lawsuit is coming from a player. That's the issue. Coaches get together. Administrators get together. Conference chairmen get together. University presidents and chancellors get together, and they come up with all these ideas and all these rules that would be enforced upon the players, and then the players and their high-priced lawyers show up and say, no. And everybody goes, meaning the courts go, yeah, we're going to go with the players on this one. And the NCAA loses, and they put their tail between their legs, and then people like Nick Saban and all these missing the big picture people just sit there and say everything that's wrong with it. When all you had to do was bring the players into the decision-making process. You're going to have to treat them as employees. You're going to have to let them unionize. You're going to have to let them collectively bargain. But then you can set rules that are enforceable because they agreed to them. The moment you put a salary cap in place to a non-collectively bargained sport, there is going to be lawsuits all over the place on how you are limiting their ability to earn a living. And with absolutely no input from the players, the courts are going to side with them, just as they've done over and over and over again. I mean, we just saw it with Brantmeyer, the tennis star from Carolina, UNC. She just beat she was one of the two named players in the class action suit, but they just beat the NCAA to the tune of $2 million in costs and fees, just saying that before you're in college, you should be able to play in a tennis tournament and win prize money. Now, if it was all collectively bargained and the players agreed to whatever limits you had on their prize money, that wouldn't even be a case. But you didn't let the players have any input, so she took them to court along with one other named athlete and the class action, and they whipped the NCAA up and down that courthouse. You'd think that the NCAA would be tired of it by now. How many players are going to take them to court and win? How many? We don't want to let you transfer, Darian Mensah said. Yeah, you do. They said, no. He said, give me a couple days in court. Settled. We're on our way. He's going to be playing for Miami this year. If you want to put transfer limits in, if you want to put rev share limits, NIL limits, salary cap limits, if you want to put eligibility limits, the only thing you have to do is let them be employees. I know that's a dirty word to schools, but you're going to have to do it. Might as well rip the Band-Aid off, let them unionize, and let them collectively bargain. Saban's going, oh, it shouldn't be a $40 million roster against a $5 million roster. Side note, it was never fair. It was never fair. Did Nick Saban think he was winning all of those national championships with equal resources to every other team in the country? The difference between Alabama and Ball State was Nick Saban knew how to rally the team? Is that what he thought it was? Or was it the gigantic piles of money that was funding Alabama? Whether you believe they were paying under the table or not, I can tell you they had a $188 million football facility. I don't believe Austin Peay had a $188 million football facility. $40 million roster against $5 million roster. That's outlandish. But when Alabama's budget was easily $35 million more than the teams they were playing under Nick Saban, that was okay. Yeah, I agree. We should collectively bargain and put a salary cap on the coaches' salaries. That's what I think we should do. Should not be allowed to. Every coach every head coach in the entire country should make the same amount of money. I don't think Nick Saban would be into that, right? And he would probably go to his union and would probably say, "Don't let that happen," right? Oh, is that how it works? Yes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And I assume that there was some crazy caller on Feinbaum show that called in and agreed with Saban because that's just the way that show works. But I hope there were some people that didn't call in that disagreed wholeheartedly. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. You want to talk about rules and regulations? There's a whole bunch of them when it comes to what you need to do to get your mortgage. Miller Lending, they can shepherd you through it. And on top of that, they can let you know about a little something called a no-cost loan. No closing costs, no fees, no surcharges. They didn't just, dress up your closing costs and disguise it as something else and give it a different name. No closing cost. So there's the entire process, the pre-approval, all the way to closing. Miller Lending can help you out along the way at every single step and open your eyes to something that you probably didn't think was possible, a no-cost loan. So give them a call. Everywhere in the Triangle, right? One of my favorite parts about Miller Lending is they are owned locally. When you call the number I'm about to give you, you're talking to somebody in Cary, right? They know the market, they know the area, they know the neighborhood you're looking to buy. So give them a call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equalizing lender. NMLS number 250-2146. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from many of you in one of our favorite segments, Feedback Frenzy, coming up.
Move your sports day forward.
The Carolina Panthers continue their evolution now 3 years into this front office, and there's promise. What started year one as a refresh turned into a rebuild, and with the latest draft, we see reinforcement. The fifth-year option on Bryce Young, now icing. It's a different mantra from the let's develop dogs mentality. Now it seems, let the dogs hunt.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline, 877-718-5543.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friend Dr. Lori Travers and Travers LASIK, and people ask me all the time, why did you go to Dr. Lori? 1, she's the best. 2, I need 20/20 vision, and now I've got it. I've gotten rid of the glasses and the contact and everything that goes along with it. And right now, Travers LASIK is honoring first responders with an exclusive LASIK savings for police officers, firefighters, and EMTs. Travers LASIK, 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com.
It's bow time. Sometimes the craving for Bojangles Supremes is so strong you just gotta have them. Even when your gas tank is on empty and Bojangles is still 10 miles down the highway. Nothing beats the flavor of Bojangles' juicy golden Supremes, especially when they're part of a perfect combo with 4 boldly seasoned chicken Supremes, a made-from-scratch biscuit, fixin', and some legendary iced tea. The only thing that can satisfy your hunger is that delicious southern flavor. So when the craving is supreme, put the pedal to the metal. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that one-of-a-kind Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes Dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned, Cajun-fried, whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we hit a feedback frenzy, I want you all to have every opportunity you can to see the Canes in person in round 2, game 2 of the playoffs. And the way I can do that is by passing along some keywords to you. Right now, there are 2 keywords that are active, and they'll both be active until 5 o'clock, so you have about 15 more minutes. One of the keywords is win, W-I-N, and one of the keywords is hockey, H-O-C-K-E-Y. In different texts, separate texts, send those 2 keywords to 919-860-5326. Text those 2 keywords, win and hockey, in different texts to 919-860-5326 if you haven't done so already this hour, and you will gain 2 entries to potentially win a pair of Carolina Hurricanes Round 2 Game 2 playoff tickets. Winner will be selected and notified on Monday, May 4th, and we will have a new keyword next hour. Okay, but for the rest of this hour, for the next 15 minutes, win and hockey are both active. If you did hockey yesterday, you can do it again today. Send them in. Win and hockey to get all of your chances. All right, I think I've said that clearly enough. If you don't get it, that's on you. Now, we move towards a feedback frenzy.
All right, Tim, this comes actually from our YouTube live stream. So this one comes from Will Parks. Will Parks says this regarding the Carolina Hurricanes, as we know they're going to face the Ottawa Senators. They beat the Ottawa Senators. They're going to face the Philadelphia Flyers in the second round. Will Parks says this, in my opinion, Ottawa is a better team than the Flyers. The Canes swept Ottawa. I don't see why they can't sweep the Flyers.
I'm leaning further and further and further towards picking the Canes in 5, just because I think it's really difficult to win 8 straight postseason games in an NHL playoffs. But don't get me wrong, I won't be surprised if they sweep the Flyers. But it's a different challenge mentally. Ironically, their first round opponent came with a lot of people telling them that Ottawa was this big bad bully. And similar to what that commenter exactly did, there's going to be a lot of people saying Philly's not even as good as Ottawa, which means you have to kind of like bring your chip on your shoulder yourself. You know what I mean? Like nobody's going to put it there. Philly is going to be the one that's severely disrespected coming into this series. I believe the Carolina Hurricanes were the ones that were severely disrespected going into their series against Ottawa. So it is a different kind of mental challenge. Of course, if you talk to Rod Brindamore or anybody on that team, they'll say outside opinions don't matter, and they're going to play every game like it's their last regardless, and you hope that's true. But no, I agree with you. I think if you put Ottawa and Philly in a playoff series, it would be pretty darn popular to pick like Ottawa in 5 or 6. And that's agreeing with everything you just said.
All right, let's actually go to a little bit of the hardwoods. Okay, college basketball. In terms of UNC basketball getting another 7-footer. This one comes from Colton Watson. At least North Carolina is getting 7-footers. NC State thinks they're fixed with one guy 6'10". Well, we got our big guy. Now they'll be the small ball team like they always are.
I will say if their roster stopped being built today, I would have that worry for NC State. But, you know, there's a difference between somebody arriving and being on the way. Their roster is starting to take shape, but they could add more bigs. You know what I mean? Like their roster is not full. It's not at capacity. So while I agree with you if they had to play a game tomorrow, I would go, oh, they're going to get bullied down low. But they don't have to play a game tomorrow. So they can continue working, continue recruiting, and continue figuring it out. The 2 most recent 7-footers that just committed to UNC earlier this week and Duke today, guess what? They were both members of the 2027 recruiting class a couple weeks ago. So things change, right? Like, while I agree with you in the moment, I'm definitely not writing it in pen, right? I'll lightly sketch it in pencil, knowing I might have to erase it. But yeah, the roster right now does look light on big men for NC State.
All right, let's go to the Carolina Panthers. So yesterday you got into how the Carolina Panthers got great value in their late round picks.
Mm-hmm.
This one actually comes from Richard Rose. Richard Rose says this on the heels of the Carolina Panthers drafting Monroe Freeling in the first round, and then Sam Hiked in the 5th round. Said this, kind of feels like we got our Jordan Gross, Ryan Khalil type of O-line coming back. I'm stoked. Hated not taking Thieneman though, but again is stoked about that Jordan Gross, Ryan Khalil type offensive line.
I mean, you hope that their offensive line has been pretty good recently. They've spent a boatload of money on it, and that's prior to this offseason, right? They have the highest priced guards in the NFL, 6th overall pick tackle. Taylor Moton is not cheap. Like, you know, the offensive line has not been the worst part of the team, but again, like I said this earlier, I don't know if anybody's was going into the draft saying, I hope they get Monroe Freeling. But Monroe Freeling is the type of player it's really hard to complain about. You know, all right, they didn't take the one I wanted, whether it's, you brought up Thieneman. I know a lot of people like Mekhi Lemon. Some wanted somebody like Kenyon Sadiq to fall. There were a lot of other guys. But, I mean, can you really be mad that they got a big, tall, strong, fast left tackle? I think everyone's kind of similar to that. Not my favorite pick, but yeah, I like having a good offensive line as much as the next guy. It's hard to complain about it. It's kind of what I'm going for.
Not gonna lie, that sounds like me.
That's everybody.
That sounds like me.
It's everybody. I genuinely don't think there were many people that were number one on my board, Monroe Freeling. But I know a lot of people that were like, well, if they weren't going to go with my guy, I guess Monroe Freeling's pretty cool. That's just the way it is. That's how offensive linemen are treated, by the way.
That's the thing. You don't have the counting stats, so it's kind of hard to be like, all right, like did he play well? I don't know.
And you don't know. Like, it's really hard to evaluate offensive line play. That's why I said it before the draft. I was like, I just kind of go off of other people I trust because you don't know what the offensive line coach is coaching, what the technique is, what they're being asked to do, how good their opponents are. It's really tough. So, Monroe Freeling, solid pick. If you had someone else that was more flashy that you wanted, you're probably like, darn, but Monroe Freeling, solid pick. It's kind of how I describe everybody.
All right, well, speaking along those lines of Monroe Freeling in that first-round pick, this one actually comes from Ricardo Contreras. Ricardo says this, can you tell us your opinion on our first-round pick, Monroe Freeling? Was Freeling the best player, or was it Mekhi Lemon, or was it Dylan Thieneman? No one wants to seem to talk about this.
Well, that's because it's nearly impossible to judge quality between a fast safety and a big tackle. It's like, who's the better musician, Jay-Z or the Foo Fighters? It's probably in the eye of what you want, right? Like, it's what's your favorite type of music? Who's the better player, Mekhi Lemon or Monroe Freeling? Well, do you want to run the ball or do you want to pass the ball? Or do you want to throw it over the middle or do you want to throw it downfield? Or like, because if you're throwing it downfield a lot, you're going to need time. You're going to need a blindside stalwart protector because Bryce is going to need to be able to take a 5-7 step drop and hang out and wait for routes to develop. If you want to play West Coast quick game, if you want to play RPO game, Mekhi Lemon was probably the guy because you don't need as much time because he has to get open within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Better player is tough. It's better fit. I don't know. I had Mekhi Lemon as the second best wide receiver in this draft. But I had Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon. I was not a big Carnell Tate fan. He went 4th overall. So there's different strokes for different folks. Different whatever, beat to the drummer, whatever the line is. Who's the best player available? To me, it was not Thieneman. It may have been Lemon, but also I acknowledge I'm not great at valuing offensive line. So it could have been Monroe Freeling, and I would have had no clue.
Like I said, it's kind of a matter of like, what do you want? What do you value? All right, let's
it's
actually
like go to the grocery store and saying, get me the best food. It's like, best? What are you feeling? Give me.
Yeah.
Are you in the mood for
steak?
You in the mood for Mexican? Are we grilling? Or do you want me to put together something Italian? Like, give me at least an aisle to walk down. Don't just send me to the grocery store and say, get the best food. Like, that's a really tough spot to be.
All right, let's go back to the ice, to the Carolina Hurricanes. Yesterday, talked about how where the Carolina Hurricanes can improve from round 1 to round 2. And this one actually comes from Let's Go Canes. Top lines get shut down in the playoffs. Nothing new here. Matchups. Talking about how the top line needs to produce.
Yep.
You mentioned that yesterday. Let's Go Canes says, yeah, top lines get shut down in the playoffs. There's nothing new here.
Okay, and by the way, I said when we had that conversation, a couple of games, you tip your cap to Ottawa. When your 3 leading goal scorers on the season get zippy, or 3 of your 4, I guess, because Aho did get the one that was practically shorthanded. Listen, I think you can beat Ottawa. Ready for this? This is where I act like something that has already happened is possible. I think you can beat Ottawa with your top line not producing much.
Yeah.
I think that's possible. I think you can beat Philly with your top line not producing much. If you catch Tampa in the Eastern Conference Finals, darn sure Colorado in the finals. There's going to be a point where you need your top guys, your highest paid players to produce more than that. You can't just go like, well, Ottawa's top line is good defensively, so we're just going to accept that Jarvis, Svetch don't score ever again. Like, that's there's a give and take there, right? Less than usual, I'm good, right? Like, yeah, it was a tough matchup for them. They were doing a lot defensively too. Less than usual, cool. Zippy dippy, 0. I'm gonna ask for more than that. That's kind of where I'm at.
It's also kind of hard to say that top lines get shut down in the playoffs when the 3 leading goal scorers for the Canes in last year's playoffs were Andrei Svechnikov, Seth Jarvis, and Sebastian Aho. And then look at the top point scorers in the NHL right now. Kirill Kaprizov, 9 points. Leon Draisaitl, 9 points. Jason Robertson, 8. Jack Eichel, 8. Jake Gensel, 8. What are all those guys? Matt Boldy, 7. They're all top-line guys.
And listen, I give Ottawa all the respect in the world.
Sure.
They played hard. They lost all 4, but they played hard. They're not like, the 85 Chicago Bears defensively. You know what I mean? They're not out there like, well, yeah, you get shut down when you play that behemoth. It's not. They're good. Don't get like they deserved respect and all of that from a hockey standpoint. But yeah, I'm not being okay with the top line going quiet like they did, scoring the puck for an entire series. With context on all of it. And thank you to everybody that participates in Feedback Frenzy by jumping on our YouTube live stream comments and letting us know what you agree and disagree with. Hopefully you enjoy hearing your comments jump on air, even if it's just for a few moments. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting 5 coming up next and a new keyword for potential playoff tickets. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
All of my life, all I heard from Mets fans were, oh, you Yankees fans, all you do is buy championships. If we had as much money as you, we'd have 27 just like you guys. The New York Mets have the highest cash payroll of any team in baseball. $360 million this year.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 984-207-6220 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 984-207-6220 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 984-207-6220 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinics treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 984-207-6220.
Canes Hockey is back. Grab an ice cold Surfside to enjoy while you cheer on your Canes. Only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles, so easy to sip and enjoy. It's not a seltzer, it's Surfside. Official hard tea and lemonade of the Carolina Hurricanes. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
Step between the lines when you download the High School OT mobile app presented by State Employees Credit Union. It's easier than ever to find the coverage you want for the sports and schools you cheer for the loudest. Receive up-to-minute alerts, scores, videos, insider content, and the latest high school sports news across the state of North Carolina. Available now on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the High School OT mobile app presented by State Employees Credit Union.
Saturday, May 2nd. Don't miss the North Carolina Courage taking on the reigning NWSL Shield champs, Kansas City Current. This high-demand match is selling fast. Upgrade to a premium experience. With limited inventory, secure your seats now at ticket.ntcourage.com or call 919-459-8144.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Eagle Leasing Studio, WCMC HD1 Holly Springs, 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. It's a cooler evening ahead. Make sure to grab an extra layer. Tonight, we drop down to 47 for the low under partly cloudy skies. Friday, it's partly to mostly cloudy, a 20% chance for rain. Some much-needed steady rain Saturday with highs in the upper 50s.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 790 points today at the closing bell, finishing at 49,652. This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Contact Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I want to give you the full hour.
Ooh.
The full hour for the keyword today. So before we even get to the starting 5, I'm giving you the 5 o'clock hour keyword that could potentially win you a pair of Carolina Hurricanes Round 2, Game 2 playoff tickets. The keyword for today is, for this hour, I should say, not today. It expires at 6. Shot. S-H-O-T. Shot. Text just that word, just the word shot, nothing else needed, to 919-860-5326. If you text shot to 919-860-5326 by 6 p.m. today, you will gain an entry into the competition, the contest, to potentially win a pair of tickets to see Carolina in Round 2, Game 2 of the playoffs at the Lenovo Center. Winner will be selected and notified on Monday, May 4th. So good luck to all of you. Happy texting. Keyword shot. 919-860-5326. Everybody got it? Good. With that, let's jump into the starting 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Offensively, as Foster drives, hangs, and hits in the paint. Foster has 12.
All right, everybody. Listen, if you're a Duke hater, kind of a tough day for you. Part of the reason Duke came to an agreement with Amazon. That's right. They're a part of 2-day shipping. No, I'm kidding. They are a part of having all of their, not all of their, but they have 3 premier non-conference games at neutral sites across the country that'll be broadcast exclusively on Amazon Prime, the streaming giant. The games will be, they're not small games, by the way. Duke is not, after last year, they didn't go, you know what, maybe we should dial back our non-conference schedule. They're ramping it up. Duke will take on UConn November 25th, which is the day before Thanksgiving, in Sin City, a little Vegas action. They will play Michigan, the defending national champions, a couple of days before Christmas, December 21st, at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Do you think they'll catch like the Rockets Christmas show before or after the game, maybe?
You know what? Maybe this will swing by Rockefeller Center, go check out the big Christmas tree.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
skate around a little bit.
There you go.
The game against Gonzaga will be the 3rd, February 20th, in Detroit, which Detroit is also the city that'll be hosting the Final Four. They'll be on Amazon, and there's an agreement for following years to again have 3 Amazon-streamed Duke non-conference neutral site games. This is a Duke deal, okay? I want to be clear on this. This is not an ACC deal. This is not a Jimmy V Classic or Jumpman Classic or anything. Like, this is a Duke business deal with Amazon. They had to go and make agreements with ESPN on neutral site ESPN-owned games that they'll play in the future to make this one okay. But this is a Duke deal, which means big money, big exposure. Amazon is gigantic internationally, and as we're seeing, college basketball recruiting is getting more and more and more and more global, so they will be building their brand, which is already gigantic, even more overseas. Duke's a good business, is kind of what I'm saying here. They're exploring new revenue streams, no pun intended, with streamers. They are exploring new ways to make money. They're exploring new ways to fund their war chest that they need every year going into the recruiting world. And as the recruiting show, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, they're not lacking for ammunition in the recruiting world.
Oh, no, not at all.
This Amazon deal is a big deal.
Do you think this is going to, if things go well in terms of viewership, do you think there might eventually be a hey, like season-long documentary of like these games like on Amazon exclusive, which is like another added revenue stream.
Absolutely. And guess what else we're going to see? We're going to see Duke players in Amazon ads. Like this is a just opening the door. And it's not only like it's not going to end up being solely Duke. Okay? It's going to end up being the brands that can command eyeballs are going to start finding ways to monetize that, and it's going to put a bigger and bigger and bigger gap between the haves and the have-nots. Because guess what? An Amazon like a Hard Knocks, right? Or what do they call it? Face Off for hockey. People will pay to watch a Duke behind the scenes. People will subscribe to catch a Carolina behind the scenes, to catch a Kentucky behind the scenes, a Kansas, on and on and on and on. They won't pay to watch a Boston College behind the scenes. They won't pay to watch a Washington State behind the scenes. So that's just more money that's going to go to the Blue Bloods that will grow the gap. But, hey, it ain't tricking if you got it, right? It ain't a problem. If you knew better, you do better. Whatever the sayings are, Duke is going to find a way to capitalize on their brand, and the trail that they blaze will be followed by everybody else that can. So if you have a brand, I suggest you call a streamer. Whether it be Amazon going like you need an undercard, yeah, we'll do it in a different neutral site earlier that day against another big team. How you feel? Or you're calling up Netflix, or you're calling up Hulu. There used to be commercials that told me they have live sports. Call up whoever you can call. Tubi? YouTube?
Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
Amazon's doing it. They're going to want to get in the game as well.
By the way, so when it comes to media rights, that's for your home contests. So that's the thing. Like, so because this is neutral site, Duke, I think, is allowed to negotiate this, from my understanding, right?
I'm not going to pretend like I'm super familiar with the grant of rights deal that the ACC signs with their teams, but I would imagine it is the games that are your home games, or else, meaning that you're designated as the home team.
Yes.
Whether it's neutral court or not, because why would ESPN give you the out to just play all your home games somewhere that they don't own?
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's all inferring, and maybe there's finances of like, because I'm sure ESPN wants X amount of Duke games that they own. When they sign up with an the ACC basketball, I'm sure they're not like, yeah, if Duke plays all their games neutral court, that's fine. Just make sure we get extra Syracuse games. Like, I'm sure that they're not handling that trade.
Well, I do know that ratings factor into some of the revenue that's shared from the league. So, I mean, Duke is willingly sacrificing that to get this money from Amazon. So it has to be definitely worth something.
Yeah, but also, like, social media mentions and everything play into that. And these games likely make up the gap. You know what I mean? They're big games. And also, you know what else they are? They're like really important basketball games. These are just gigantic resume building games if you're trying to be a number 1 overall seed and trying to have the easiest path and all of that. Those are UConn and Michigan were in the Final Four this year. They're good. Gonzaga's in the mix for a top seed every year. That's number 1? That was number 5. Oh, here was the first one, number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. All together.
I feel great about playing football right now.
So here's the deal. The NFL draft came to a close over the weekend. We are a week. Seems like shorter than that, but a week ago the first round was played, or was orchestrated. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN Insider kind of dumped his notebook on Insight for the drafts for all the teams. Dennis, he said that the Panthers were offensive tackle, or bust in round 1. Mentioned they liked Proctor out of Alabama. They liked Lomu out of Utah. Obviously, they liked Monroe Freeling out of Georgia. That's who they ended up taking. Are you surprised to hear that it was tackle or bust?
A little surprised by it's tackle or bust, but I still don't hate the guy that they got, at least the value of the guy that they got. I don't think they reached for anybody. I think it fell right to him, but I was a little surprised by that. But I think they're also probably looking at the board and saying, all right, we need to get an offensive tackle in this draft. The only way that we know we can get somebody of quality is actually here in this first round. Because once you got past those first 6 or 7 offensive tackles, it was like a cliff for the next tier of guys. So maybe that was the mindset. Like, if we got to get somebody, it's got to be this round. So, I mean, I get it.
Do you know what it emphasizes? And we should remember this conversation. Bookmark it, Thursday, April 30th, 5:11 p.m. on air. Don't believe a darn thing Dan Morgan says leading up to the draft. There's no rule against us taking a wide receiver 3 years in a row. Like, he knows how to throw you off the scent. Meanwhile, in the back of his head, he's going, it's offensive tackle or bust. We're taking a tackle. I'm just saying, smokescreen season he participates in. He is a believer and a celebrator of smokescreen season. And he's good at it, too. He's got that kind of intense stare, a little monotone. You don't know whether it's coming or going. I like the draft overall. I want to be clear on that. I like the draft overall, but the more you talk about it, the more you dissect it, you're going to find little things you like and don't like about it. But I do like the draft overall. That is number 4. Let's get to number 3.
90 seconds, 8-point lead for UVA. Williams to a cutting Copeland. He finishes through a foul.
NC State basketball. Got a commitment from Darius Adams out of the transfer portal. Darius Adams, depending on where you looked in your recruiting rankings, he was a freshman this past year at Maryland in the last recruiting class, about 40th ranked recruit. He was a McDonald's All-American, 4-star, high 4-star, according to most recruiting classes, or most recruiting websites. 6'5" combo guard out of the Hoosier State, out of Indiana. At Maryland, his freshman year, he averaged 10.8 points per game, 3.4 rebounds per game. I'll give him this. I'm not afraid to shoot the basketball. I wouldn't say he was the most efficient scorer, but at times he could fill it up. And Maryland, I guess, gave him that freedom. NC State's transfer class appears, 2 things stand out to me. Or it's not even just their transfer class. It's their roster as a whole. 2 things stand out to me. One, I don't see a star, right? They're going to try, at least if the game started tomorrow, it looks like they're going to try to get it done, all for one, one for all, 3 Musketeers style. They're not going to have like the all ACC first teamer. They're going to have a lot of guys that on any given day could be their one of their best players. The other thing is they still need size. And I'm talking about post-player size. They've gotten bigger in their last few commitments on the perimeter. 6'7", 6'8", forward wings. There's a 6'5" combo guard. Like, they've gotten bigger positionally after bringing in a 6'1" and a 6'4" guard to kind of start things. But they need post-player size. That's where it's going to be directed. And that happens to be the most competitive market in the portal and in recruiting going on right now. The big guys can ask for a lot of money, and the supply is less than the demand. So you're going to have to go make it happen, Justin Gainey. You're going to have to go give him the old razzle-dazzle. Give him the old sales pitch. You know what they do have a lot to offer to a big guy? Playing time. I would lean on that a little bit. They do have the player from UC Irvine, the former Anteater. 6'10", led the country in blocks last year. That's one. You know what's the best thing about one? Go make it 2 and 3 and 4. You're gonna need size, especially if you and Justin Gainey gets it right. You got to compete with the teams in the triangle. Duke and Carolina, they are putting together a very, very, very tall roster. Each of them, they're putting together some 7-footers. You can't roll out there with 6'10". That's how you end up with that guy in foul trouble and everybody else getting bullied. So, size. But I do like Darius Adams. He's an interesting prospect, development prospect, which is what Justin Gainey has said from the very beginning. They want to be a developmental program. Interesting skill set coming to the table. That's number 3. How about number 2?
Just the two of us. Again, it's Chinyalu defending. Help from Plajar. Evans for three. They left Evans, and he made him pay.
Joaquin Boomshe has committed to Duke basketball. You may not have heard of him. The recruiting prospect experts, they have heard of him. So he's been playing for the Barcelona Youth Club in Spain. But he is originally from Florida. His dad played in the NBA, played for the Trailblazers. And Dennis, go hit it with your favorite fact.
He actually played for the old Fayetteville Generals of the old NBA D-League, which is now known as the G League, but played down in Fayetteville for a season. So he's coming home.
Look at that. Boomshe is, we'll use Rivals because they said it most cleanly. This is a 16-year-old prospect in Europe. If he were to be exactly the same prospect that he is, but be a senior in high school in America right now, so he would be on all of the traditional recruiting lists, he would be the number one center in the soon-to-graduate high school recruiting class. If he just came over to American high school, so he was on all of the recruiting lists, and he remained where he was originally, which would be in the current junior class, he would be the number one player in the class. Duke just kind of made this guy appear. And I know Carolina was on him, some other schools were recruiting him, but he's not on any recruiting list, and now we're being told he might be the top guy on those recruiting lists, and he's committed to Duke. He is a really interesting prospect in this way. He's too young to go into the NBA draft after his freshman year. There is, I would say, a little-known rule in the NBA that not only do you have to be a full year removed from your high school graduating class to go into the draft, but you also have to be 19 in the same calendar year as the draft. Boomshe will not be 19 in the calendar year of the NBA draft after his freshman year of college. So assuming he doesn't leave in the transfer portal or go back to Europe, he's a 2-year player at Duke. Duke does not get 5-star players that are guaranteed 2-year players. They get guys who, if they have good years, they go pro. Some of them have good years and elect to come back anyway. Some of them don't have the year they were hoping for, elect to come back. Some hit the transfer portal and leave. This is an interesting one because it, probably for the first time in a long time, Duke can truly plan a 2-year development program. I don't think Boomshe is going to play a ton from the jump. I think he'll be a depth big man, which you just heard me talk about how important it is to be big in college basketball right now. They're going to have a 7-foot, 5-star, hey, if guys get hurt or in foul trouble, we get to put him out there. That's incredible depth. But at the same time, if he develops more quickly than some are thinking he will, by the end of the year, he could be a main contributor. And for sure, by his sophomore year, which would be, for most people age-wise, maybe you're an old senior in high school or a young freshman in college, would be his sophomore year at Duke, he'd be expected to be a star. Now, you pair him with 3 top 15 recruits and another top 80 recruit that they already had in the incoming recruiting class, more traditional pipeline guys, high school in America. That's a really good high school class. You pair that with one of the best transfer recruiting classes in the country, even though they only have 2 guys because one of them is Jonathan Blackwell. And then you add that with the returners, they're a really good roster. They are a really good roster. They're going to be top 3 in the country preseason again. And have some veterans, right? I talk about it all the time. The thing John Shire does that impresses me the most is he's not hard-headed on the mistakes that he's made, and he oftentimes fixes them that offseason. I think there were a couple games late. He wishes he had a few more veterans on the roster. This offseason, he's going to have some more veterans on the roster. And he may have said, watching the Final Four, we might need a little bit more size. Boom. More size. I'm talking about post-player size, not just positional size on the perimeter. Good player. That's number 2. How about number 1?
The 1! work here as Carolina moves it around. Miller shot off the sidewalk. He scores! Logan Stankoven! 4 games, 4 goals, and on the power play, the Canes have taken a 2-1 lead here in Ottawa in Game 4.
Canes, Flyers, round 2, playoffs. Be there or be square. Should we go full cut a promo?
Yeah.
Carolina Hurricanes, brother. You, me, Lenovo Center. Games 1 and Games 2. Come on, Flyers. Oh, you're a real big tough guy. Where's Nick Delorier now? Then his music hits. He's wearing a Canes uniform. He's wearing a Canes sweater. Anything else? Oh, that are. We're supposed to be all scared. Well, guess what? Freddie is on fire. And Logan Stankoven's got something to say. You, me. The only thing I need right now is the times for Game 1. I need to be able to say Sunday afternoon, but we don't know when it is. I don't know. I don't know what it is. There it is. You listen here, Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. Well, I got something for you, brother, and his name is Logan Stankoven. And he's scoring about a goal a game. What you got to say about that? We call him Mr. Game 1. And you can meet us for Game 1 in the Lenovo Center. Home ice. When? We'll wait for the NHL to tell us. And don't go crying to Nick Delorier, because he's with us now. All right, that's going to hurt my voice. I got to finish the show. It's exciting times. Let's just call it what it is, right? The first round victory has become, I would say, kind of assumed by Canes fans because it's happened. If you could be a Canes fan in college, and going back to when you were in elementary school, they had won a postseason series in every single year. So the first round's kind of assumed. It probably shouldn't be. We should appreciate it more. We should appreciate it a bit more, but we don't, right? They've spoiled us. This is the round where things get real. This is the round, even though I would say Ottawa is probably a better on-paper hockey team than Philly, it is still the game where everybody can kind of taste it, right? It's the round where everybody starts to imagine. Everybody. Including Philly, right? So you're going to get a Philly team that's starting to believe. Philly just eliminated Sidney Crosby. Their confidence is going to be on 100. Carolina's going to have to show up and match that and then exceed that. And, we've done the breakdowns. We're going to continue to do the breakdowns because it's what you do when your team's in the postseason with a long break like this. But, yeah, things you want to continue. I just said them all in that promo, right? Freddie. You need to have a big day. You need to have him stay on fire. You need the Stankoven line to stay on fire. You need the penalty kill to stay on fire. But that's not to say that there aren't things that need to do better. Need the Aho line to play better. Need the power play to play better. A lot of the same guys there. You need your own power play to take advantage of the really good penalty kill you have going on. You need to be better in the face-off circle. I know Game 3 against Ottawa was different, but you have to be better in the face-off circle. Looking at the usual suspects, Stahl, Aho, right? You got to be better in the face-off circle. So there are pros and cons to the way they played against Ottawa. The biggest pro being they swept them, they won. That's the name of the game. But, if you're a coach looking through things with a critical eye, you're going to find parts that the Canes need to do better. And that goes without saying, you want to get healthy. Right? Nikolai Ehlers, Alexander Nikishin, those are not, run-of-the-mill players. And matter of fact, do you know what the irony is? Coming into the postseason, if we were to say, and we asked this question a bunch of times, it was one of my favorite to ask, what's the biggest difference between this year's Canes playoff team and last year's Canes playoff team? Nikolai Ehlers was a pretty popular answer, and Alexander Nikishin being fully ingrained in the system and being in North American soil for a full season was a big part of the answer. Those two guys are both the ones you're waiting for to get healthy. So their health is important. But yes, if we're just going to, look on the surface, I mean, every single statistical category that is the most popular statistical categories, the Canes have been better this year than Philly. So if you do what you do, if you play your game, if you show up ready to go, you should win the series. I mean, good teams have lost series in the past, though, so don't take anything for granted. Should we play some audio from Svech? I know we have some Svech audio and people like hearing from him. So here's Andrei Svechnikov on his thoughts on his overall play despite no points in that Ottawa series.
Yeah, I mean, don't care really about the points. If I get 0 points and we win the Stanley Cup, I would be the happiest person in the world, But Fat played good, like you said, try to find those moments, good moments, hang out with the pucks in the offensive zone and obviously, it didn't come, but I had some good looks, good moments, creating the moments as well.
Should turn my microphone on. There's some Canes talk. Just because we've been talking a lot of big man transfer portal stuff going on, I guess we'll fire breaking news here. Inside Carolina is reporting that according to their sources, Maxime Logie is no longer expected to transfer to Carolina. Florida Atlantic reserve post player had been committed for a little over a week, I guess, going back to I don't know, like 8 or 9 days ago, had been committed. He is no longer expected to transfer to Carolina. Perhaps having something to do with some of the other big men they've brought in since then, and maybe he saw his opportunity going down. There were some discussions about whether he was cleared or would be cleared to play at Carolina, but it appears as if Logie, I worked a lot on pronouncing his name, and now I'm not going to get to use any of that. It doesn't look like he's coming to Carolina anymore. So one big guy off the list, but they added 2 7-footers since that commitment. I guess it's going to happen eventually, right? Everybody won't be happy. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the starting five. We do need to grab some numbers game contestants, but first, Tim Donnelly here for Mainer Service Company. We're about to have one of those North Carolina weekends, everybody. It's supposed to get cold. It's supposed to be rainy. You know what you're going to want? To make sure your house is working, right? You're going to want to make sure that your heating and cooling is working because on any given day, it could be 100, it could be 40, it could be raining, it could be windy. You might want to have the windows open. You might want to have the windows closed. Your heating and cooling, you want them to be dependable whenever you call upon them. And that's what Mainer Service Company is. They're dependable anytime you call on them to make the services in your house dependable anytime you call upon them. Not just heating and cooling, by the way, plumbing, electric. They do it all. They are highly trained technicians, and they, very fortunately for us, work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year. That's all across the Triangle, all across Wake County, and 50 miles in any direction from Wake County. So if you have an issue, a question, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, Mainer Service Company is the number to call. Here it is for you. 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or you can visit them online at MainerServices.com. MAYNOR Services.com. Coming up next, we have the numbers game, but we need 2 contestants to play. The number to call, 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and win a $25 Hardee's gift card if you are victorious. So the number, 919-860-5326. Call in now. We need 2 contestants. Numbers game next.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and after every Hurricanes game, thanks to my friends at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, we give you the Canes Corner podcast. In-depth analysis on what happened, why it happened, what's going to happen next, which players are those to look out for, and as we get deep into the playoffs, how can Carolina best position themselves to win a Stanley Cup? Canes Corner podcast, brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina, live on YouTube, and of course available wherever wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, it's Amanda back again with my friend Coach Pete. Coach, I know that I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to my finances. I mean, I call somebody to paint the house. I call somebody to work in the yard. I need to call somebody that knows what they're doing with financial advice.
Yeah, it's important. You also have to trust this person, and you have to know they're doing the right thing for you. I mean, there's a lot of choices out there for advisors. Or you can open up the phone book if you still have one, and there's a lot of advisors in there. Or Google them or that. But you have to have one that cares and specializes in people like you. Like if someone just deals with people with $10 million or more, you think you're going to get the best service from them? No, you need folks that work with everyone. We do that. We've been doing that for 32 years locally right here in the Triangle. We're in Apex. We can help you get started. We can help you transition to retirement. We can help you with lifetime income you can never outlive. Folks love that, Amanda. Folks, call now. We'll do it for you at no cost. And we'll also give you a copy of my new book, The Big Book on Retirement.
919-794-7900. 919-794-7900. Or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
This is what WRAL weather coverage sounds like.
Thunderstorm warning right now in the WRAL Severe Weather Center.
When your safety is a priority.
Indication that there is a tornado on the ground, so get in your safe spot
in this area. Get in your safe spot right now.
With the tools that make a difference.
WRAL Storm Tracker is inside the storm.
WRAL has the only dual Doppler radar in Wake County.
Hear it and see it every day.
It looks like the storm is doing exactly what we predicted to do.
That's WRAL News. Weather coverage you can count on.
This Cinco de Mayo weekend, let's keep our community safe from drunk driving. If you celebrate a little too much, use a rideshare or designated driver. Amigos don't let amigos drive drunk. Think before you drink. From your friends at 99.9 The Fan and Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
All right, everybody, it's time to play the numbers game. But we did have somebody drop. We have a line open. So if you call in right now, 919-860-5326, you can be thrown right into the game. Right into a chance at a $25 Hardee's gift card. So call in now, 919-860-5326. Somebody else's misfortune could be your delicious meal. 919-860-5326. And bring your numbers game trivia with you. As soon as I see Dennis's hand go for that phone, we will welcome our other contestant and get a move on. 919-860-5326. There he goes. All right. So we have Casey and Zeblin will be one of our contestants, and whoever Dennis is talking to right now on the phone will be the other of our contestants. It appears as if it'll be Jason. So Casey and Jason are on the phone, getting ready to play. The prize, a $25 Hardee's gift card. As always, we'll bring each of our contestants onto the show. I will ask them the same question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. We'll start with we'll start with Casey. Casey, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, perfect. We're going to run back the question from yesterday. We're doing a keyword giveaway for Canes playoff tickets, pair of tickets. So anybody in sports, and I'm talking famous people, not like, your teammate from high school. Any person in sports, famous person, you get to bring them with you to a Canes game. You have a pair of tickets. Who are you bringing?
Eli Manning.
All right. That was quick and confident. Any follow-ups, Dennis?
No, none. No follow-ups.
All right.
Here.
Casey's taking Eli Manning. Let's go to Jason and Raleigh. Jason, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, same question to you. We're currently doing a keyword giveaway for Canes playoff tickets. So let's say not only do you have a pair of tickets to a Canes game, but you get to take any famous person in sports, right? Not a teammate from your local team, but like somebody famous from the world of sports, anybody. Who are you bringing with you?
Coach K.
All right, Coach K. Dennis, any follow-ups?
None.
All right. You have Casey, who very confidently went with Eli Manning, or Jason, who took some time to think about it and then picked Coach K.
I'm not going to lie. I think they might be pretty subdued people to go watch a Canes game with.
I don't know. You don't think Coach K is going to take his shirt off, twist it up, spin around his head like a helicopter?
No, I don't think so. I can't imagine Coach K going tarps off here. But that's interesting. I'll go Eli.
Okay.
I'll go Eli Manning on this one.
There's some like rumored that he's a pretty big party guy when he's around like the bros. Those those Manning passing academies, they can get a little crazy. But that's could just be a rumor. He could be the most boring guy on the planet as well. Either way, Casey gets to go first. Don't worry, Jason, you'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold. Casey, are you ready to pick a category?
I am ready.
All right. We have NFL players, Carolina Panthers only. We have MLB players, Cy Young Award winners since 2006. We have NBA players that are still playing in the playoffs, and NHL Hurricanes only.
I'll do NBA.
All right, NBA players that are still playing in the playoffs. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Do you have any questions before we get started?
I do not.
All right, perfect. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Jaylen Brown, Boston Celtics.
0.
Incorrect. Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks.
33.
Incorrect. Jaylen Brown, Boston Celtics.
Pass.
Naz Reid, Minnesota Timberwolves.
2.
Incorrect. Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks.
3.
Incorrect. Jaylen Brown, Boston Celtics.
1.
Incorrect. Naz Reid, Minnesota Timberwolves.
1.
Incorrect. Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks.
31.
Incorrect. Jaylen Brown, Boston Celtics.
2.
That's an old ofer right there.
Goose egg.
Goose egg, donut, whatever you want to call it. That's what it was. Jaylen Brown, 7. Karl Anthony Towns, you went 33, and then you finished it up with 31. We needed 32, so you're all over it. Naz Reid, 11. But again, a 0 out of 5 could potentially still be a win because tie goes to whoever goes first. So stay on the line. We'll see if double ofer lets you win one in disgusting fashion. We go to Jason. Jason, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL, Panthers only, MLB players that have won the Cy Young Award since 2006, or NHL Hurricanes only.
We'll go Panthers only.
All right. NFL, Panthers only. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though you already know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Sam Darnold, Carolina Panthers.
14.
Correct. Damian Lewis, Carolina Panthers.
26.
Incorrect. Curtis Samuel, Carolina Panthers.
8.
Incorrect. Damian Lewis, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Mike Adams, Carolina Panthers.
33.
Incorrect. Curtis Samuel, Carolina Panthers.
15.
Incorrect. Damian Lewis, Carolina Panthers.
20.
It was not pretty, Jason, but it was enough for the win. Congrats.
Thank you.
You got Sam Darnold with 14, and that's all you needed. Damian Lewis is an offensive guard. I'm not sure based on your guesses if you were up on that one. 68 was the number we were looking for. Curtis Samuel, wide receiver, number 10, Ohio State guy, and Mike Pops Adams from the legendary University of Delaware Blue Hens, number 29. During his time with the Carolina Panthers, a national champion during his time with the University of Delaware Blue Hens, Pops Adams. But I'm just now gloating a little bit. So go ahead and stay on the line. You can gloat as well because 1 was all you needed and 1 is what you got. You won yourself $25 to Hardee's. Stay on the line and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mike Pops Adams. You got to know Mike. He's a legend. He's a legend. By the way, fun fact about Mike Adams, Pops is a nickname that would make sense later in his NFL career, right? He played forever. He was in the league like 15 years, older guy. He played at Delaware long before I played at Delaware, but the legend was that like they started calling him Pops as a freshman because he was just an old soul. Just felt like a Pops. So everybody called him Pops starting as a freshman in college. And then he went on to play in the NFL for a long time. Played in a Super Bowl. Captain of the Broncos, Colts maybe, but he's made a long career out of it, and he was a Carolina Panther. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that plays the numbers game. That was not the prettiest numbers game in the world. We had a 0 and a 1 for 5, and maybe not the best guesses we've seen, but it's something about the man in the arena, right? Everybody that calls in, you have my respect. Maybe I don't think you're the best at on-air trivia, but you have my respect for putting your hat in the ring and settling it as sports fans do. Everybody else, if you've never called in and played, you don't get to poke fun at the guys that call in and don't do great. Don't do well, okay? So Casey may have had an offer, but at least he was in the mix. That's how I look at it. By the way, the keyword, which is still hot, it's still live for this hour, that could potentially win you Carolina Hurricanes Round 2, Game 2 playoff tickets, is SHOT. S-H-O-T. Text that right now to 919-860-5326. Text SHOT to 919-860-5326 by 6 o'clock. That keyword will expire at 6 o'clock. So if you want your chance, you want your entry for this hour into our playoff ticket giveaway here, text it right now. You don't have much time. There are more opportunities, additional opportunities beginning tomorrow. So at 9 o'clock, in the 9 o'clock hour during Next Up with Paul Ihander, you can receive another keyword. And then noon to 3, all right, from noon to 3, you can listen to the Adam Gold Show, gain keywords every hour. And then, of course, during this show tomorrow, we'll round out the week the way we should by giving you as many chances as they let us, many as we're allowed to give you, to win playoff tickets. So for right now, all you need to know is text keyword SHOT, S-H-O-T, just that keyword, nothing else, to 919-860-5326, and then tune in to our local programming tomorrow for more opportunities. And don't say, I didn't warn you, because I did, for sure. I definitely warned you. And you know, if you're like, oh, that's very nice, they're giving away tickets, all they're making us do is text, you can pay us back by going to YouTube, subscribing, 99.9 The Fan, all of the social medias, 99.9 The Fan. That's how, downloading the app, 99.9 The Fan, Google Play and App Store. That's how you can say thank you. Before we move on, we talk a little Panthers to end the show. Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for Loan Pronto. Folks, credit card interest rates, they're now over 29%, and most people are only making those minimum payments, so they're really getting nowhere. But here's what many homeowners don't realize. Using the equity in your home, you can easily access hundreds of thousands in cash. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can pay off your credit cards, your existing HELOC, your car loans, or get money for that home improvement project you've been wanting to get done. One client just got $100,000 approved, and they saved over $1,500 a month. And here's the best part. With Loan Pronto, you could do it all from your phone with zero out of pocket, no hard credit pull up front, no appraisal, no long drawn out bank process, and no touching your first mortgage. Rates are at near 3-year lows, so act now. Go to loanpronto.com, see how much you can get in about 60 seconds. Loan Pronto, 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, looks at a undrafted free agent who got paid by the Carolina Panthers. Stick around.
I don't care what you got, just give me that. One goal.
Nikishin, Ehlers, shoots on the power play.
Verdeen wide open, rebound, and what a save by Anderson.
Hoist Lord Stanley's Cup.
Sebastian Aho in, short hit back in, scores! Oh, talk to me, shorty! Carolina!
The Triangle's official home for the Carolina Hurricanes. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle's sports leader.
It's bow time. There's something special about the first bite of a Bojangles Cajun filet biscuit. Like an edible alarm clock that slaps you awake with bold Cajun flavor. The moment you sink your teeth into that soft, fluffy, made-from-scratch biscuit, then strike gold with a juicy piece of fried chicken, you'll know. Nothing beats the first bite. Except the second first bite. Get a Cajun filet biscuit combo today at Bojangles. It's bow time.
It's bow time. time to satisfy your craving for Cajun with a Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. Enjoy a Cajun fried filet tucked inside a hot made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. Make it a combo and add your choice of fixin' and legendary sweet tea. And remember, Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuits are served all day, every day. Bojangles Cajun Filet Biscuit. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's Bo time.
It's not Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's Tuesday. The very first Tuesday.
New scratch-off tickets are available on the first Tuesday of every month.
Announcer said first Tuesday.
Brand new scratch-offs, brand new fun. Now from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Every first Tuesday. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. The Panthers, I thought the Carolina Panthers might late round throw a dart at a quarterback. I thought, right? Taylon Green was available. Garrett Nussmeier was darn near Mr. Irrelevant. I wasn't high on Nussmeier, but I thought he'd get drafted before that. There were some guys that fell, is what I'm getting at. And I thought they might throw a dart at a quarterback, and they didn't in the draft. Turns out they may have had a plan all along. One of, I would say, this show's favorite non-local college football players, Haynes King, Georgia Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Just
so fun.
Just like he's the definition of, you watch a game, and even if he's not on your favorite team, you're just like, sure would like to have a guy like that on the squad. Like, love to have him in my locker room. He put his body on the line. He fought through every tackle. He never went down easy. And, oh, by the way, he's a quarterback. Former Georgia Tech quarterback Haynes King signed with the Panthers on a deal that reportedly included $250,000 in guarantees. That's interesting. That's a lot of money for an undrafted free agent. So much so that I went and did some digging. Another quarterback that we're familiar with, Riley Leonard, right? Developed at Duke, cashed in at Notre Dame, then went into the NFL draft. He was a 6th-round pick last year for the Colts. He signed a 4-year deal, right? Big number, right? $4.4 million, but it included $235,244 guaranteed. Haynes King got more guaranteed than Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard was drafted in the 6th round. Haynes King's an undrafted free agent. Here's what I believe happened, okay? And this is just reading some tea leaves here, no insider information. I believe they were planning on drafting a quarterback in the 7th round when they eventually took the linebacker from Miami of Ohio. But instead said, why don't we just call his agent, see if we can kind of reserve him as an undrafted free agent. If he gets drafted, we'll have to pivot, and it'll be a bum play by us. But if he's there, we'll agree to it now. We'll say, hey, listen, we were going to pick you, but we'll give you $250K guaranteed if you just immediately after the draft sign with us. The agent would probably say deal, right? Because that's a ton of money for an undrafted free agent. And then you move on with your draft. And thus, if you look at the Panthers depth chart now, you have Bryce Young as your starting quarterback. That's inarguable, right? Kenny Pickett, high-price backup, 1-year deal. Will Grier, local legend, just signed. And Haynes King. If I'm the Panthers, here's how I'm treating things. And I might even darn near tell the players. Kenny, we're going to do our best to set you up to be extremely attractive on the free agency market next year. We're going to showcase you in the preseason. We hope that you don't play at all in the regular season, but if Bryce Young goes down, you're the guy. You're going to go in there. We're going to try to make you smelling like roses as you hit the free agency market again next year. Will Grier, Haynes King, we hope one of you's our backup after that. We hope. You got to prove it. You got to battle. You got to compete this entire season. You might only get 1 rep a week with the offense. You might be running scout team. You better show us in meetings that you know exactly what you're talking about. Because if neither of you show us that you're ready to be a backup, we'll go sign another. We'll go find some veteran. What's Joe Flacco up to? Like, we'll go find somebody that can back up Bryce. But if one of you proves that you can back up Bryce, we love you for the price. We love you for the price. Right? Because Bryce is going to be more expensive starting on that 5th-year option, which would be the year after the year I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. You'd be waiting pretty soon. You'd be expecting to pay some other big contracts. So can't have the high-priced backup quarterback anymore. That's one of the things you're going to draw a line through on the old budget. Will Grier, Haynes King, if neither of you prove it, we'll move on because we're not really financially tied to either of you for much of anything. But if one of you wants to go be a backup in the NFL, make a long-time career out of it here in Carolina, we're open to it. Now, it's Kenny's job right now. We're paying him a good amount of money to do it. But pay attention to what he does. See if you can do that. And then I'll go back to a Chase Daniels quote, who made a bunch of money being a backup quarterback in the NFL. Backup quarterback's there to serve the starter. If Bryce Young wants to start watching film at 5 and he doesn't want to be lonely, you're in that seat next to him, buddy. Bring donuts. Like if Bryce Young needs you to watch one specific player on the defense every game, so every time he comes to the sideline, he can go to you and say, what was Minkah Fitzpatrick doing? Guess what you're doing? Laser focused. Bring a notepad, take notes. You need to be everything we need you to be in that quarterback room. But I like the plan there, if that is the plan. And Haynes King, some people say he has this ability. I'm not sure if the athleticism translates to the NFL the way it did in the ACC, but some say there might be some Taysom Hill stuff in there somewhere, right? If he wants to go be a special teamer, a gadget player, perhaps he can do that. He did run for a bunch of yards in the ACC in college, but they were hard-earned yards, right? He wasn't like outrunning people and getting down. He was sustaining contact at the line of scrimmage and dragging guys for a gain of 4.5 and standing up with a ripped jersey and a cut on his cheek. Like that was Haynes King.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's a tough dude.
I'm not sure that tracks in the NFL as much as some want it to be.
Do you think, again, the amount of guarantee that they gave Haynes King, do you think that there might be a chance that if there's quarterbacks that go down during training camp or in the offseason, Carolina's like, hey, we got Kenny Pickett.
Yes. I don't
want to send us a 5th?
I don't know if it's the offseason, but
because he got traded in training camp last year from the Browns.
If there are enough OTAs and mini camps and things that make you think Haynes King / Will Grier are up to date on all of the things mentally you need to as a backup quarterback, then yeah. I mean, if there's a market for Kenny Pickett, you don't protect Kenny Pickett at the expense of bringing in draft picks or whatever to your team. There's all that. But I don't think that happens until there's plenty of opportunity for Grier and King to prove they'd be ready. Because I think I'm a bit more realistic with my expectations than a lot of people are with the Panthers this year. I think some people are letting it get a little aggressive. But they are playing for something, right? You don't want to have your backup quarterback situation be such a mess that if Bryce Young, breaks a ring finger and has to be out for 3 weeks, that your season comes to a collapse, right? You want somebody that can keep the train on the tracks for a month. If they aren't very confident that they have that on the roster, I think you keep Kenny Pickett. But yeah, if somebody wants to come overpay for Kenny Pickett, you say thank you and you take that money to the bank. Although, how many teams has Kenny Pickett not played for? He's like year 5, team 7 or something like that. There's not that many teams that haven't been through the Kenny Pickett experience already.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's where he was drafted, Philadelphia, Cleveland. Didn't actually even suit up in a game for Cleveland because he got traded to the Raiders. Now he's with the Panthers. He was drafted, 2022?
Yeah, I believe I believe you hit them all.
Yeah.
He was a Super Bowl champion.
That's right. He took the knee at the end of the game in the Super Bowl.
That's funny. Congrats to them.
He has Super Bowl kneeling quarterback.
He has a very interesting Wikipedia page. Super Bowl champion, Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winner, first-team All-American, ACC Player of the Year, ACC Athlete of the Year, ACC Offensive Player of the Year, Also wears 2 gloves. I don't know if I can get down with the 2-glove thing. Does he have small hands?
Teddy Bridgewater did it. Oh, yeah, that was his big knock coming out of college,
Yeah.
that he had tiny hands.
I think it was the tiny hands thing. Don't have him hold a Whopper. Makes it look big. Ha-ha. There's an old commercial about that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't forget, you have 5 more minutes to text in the keyword SHOT, S-H-O-T, to 919-860-5326 to gain this hour's entry into our contest, giving away a pair of Carolina Hurricanes playoff tickets, round 2, game 2 tickets. Winner will be selected and notified on Monday. But if you want this hour's entry, you have 4.5 minutes to text in SHOT, S-H-O-T, to 919-860-5326. It's important. It's not so important that you should text while driving, but if you can get somewhere safe quickly and text SHOT to 919-860-5326, it just might be the text that gets you in the building for round 2, game 2, playoffs, Stanley Cup playoff, by the way. Carolina Hurricanes hosting the Philadelphia Flyers, which we learned officially as the Flyers beat Pittsburgh in overtime last night. Dennis, I wanted to say this earlier. I forgot, but it was in my notes. Is this just the playoffs of overtime? There are so many overtime games, and maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, but it seems like every game in the NHL postseason is going to overtime.
I'm not surprised.
So if you have tickets or you win the tickets from us, don't have plans shortly after the game. You might be staying around for a while.
For real.
There's overtimes happening all over the place. And they Zamboni and everything. It's the 18 minutes. It's not the quick one. They make sure overtime's done right. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close. We'll be back tomorrow to round out the week the right way. Enjoy overtime. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
All of my life, all I heard from Mets fans